WNJHD Millville, Atlantic City, a town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
And welcome into another edition of Happy Hour Friday here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill. Welcome to Friday of Memorial Day weekend. We got a lot to get to on today's show. Phillies lose the opening game of their 4-game set with the Braves. Big NFL news popping off just an hour ago. Plus, the Celtics keep winning, and I have no idea why. I have some theories, but I don't even know if they're good theories. We'll try to see how you guys feel about them. So, here's the deal. We have a convergence of two elements today. First of all, we got a show to do. Mike Gill from the Press of Atlantic City joins us at 2:40. Eduardo Perez, part of Sunday Baseball on ESPN TV, joins us at 3:25. Football at 4, powered by the Insider Birds podcast with Adam Kaplan at 4 p.m. And we will dig deeper into the NFL news that broke today. Friend of mine, Andy McNamara, joins us throughout the football season on game night, will join me at 5:25 tonight. That's one side of the coin for a happy hour Friday here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. The other side of the coin is every Friday, Mike Gill asks you what you are drinking, what's recommendation. Now, for those who may or may not know, I am basically a mixologist, all right? Aside from drinking tons of water every day, I drink coffee, I drink tea twice a day, I consume beer, wine, whiskey. So I am way open across the board for your recommendations of liquid consumption on a happy hour Friday. But what we also do for Memorial Day weekend is this. I don't want to just know what you're consuming. I want to know where you're consuming. I got my own list to my left of my favorite places. We do this every year. Mike Gill does it here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. He's not here today, so I'm going to give you my rundown list. I'm going to go town by town later in the show in the 5 o'clock hour. My favorite spots in Atlantic and Cape May County. Because if you're driving down the shore, listening to 97.3 ESPN, you're already here. You got us on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, and you want to know where to go. This is a group effort today. You guys texting in at 609-403-0973. DMing the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Let's support everyone in the community by giving a couple shout outs today. Tell me what you're consuming, where you're going to consume this weekend. Talk to me, folks. I'm here for you. Here on 97.3 ESPN on a happy hour Friday here on 97.3 ESPN. But we got to start with a little doom and gloom. And we'll get to the Phillies in just a moment. It is the doom and gloom. But can we talk about the NFL news that just broke about an hour ago? DeAndre Hopkins has been released by the Cardinals. And you can't tell me for 1 minute that it's a coincidence that he goes on the I Am Athlete podcast a couple days ago. And now all of a sudden, the Cardinals are running him out of town. Not a coincidence. It is not just because Hopkins didn't list his own quarterback at the time, Kyler Murray, on the list of quarterbacks he would love to have him throw him the ball. The issue is, I think DeAndre Hopkins' time in Arizona had run its course. Arizona had been trying to trade him, trying to feel the market out, and we all knew after he didn't get traded at the NFL draft that it just felt like you already had something telling you that he was either going to be back for the next year or he was going to be released. I didn't think he was going to be released. I was under the working assumption that you had a guy in Hopkins who was going to stay in Arizona. And now he's a free agent. I tweeted it out at Josh Hennig on Twitter already. I said, well, we already know who he wants to play with. He's already told us. There's no, I don't need Adam Schefter or anybody else to tell me, because he already said it. He said that he wants to play with either Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or as he called it, that guy who plays for the Chargers, otherwise known as Justin Herbert. Now, if you were to ask me what are the odds of him going one place or another, well, the latest odds out there, based on after him getting released, the number one favorite on the board is the Buffalo Bills at plus 110. Now, is that a guarantee he's going to Buffalo? Not necessarily, but it's interesting that the odds makers are already putting it out there that Buffalo is number one and the Chiefs number two at plus 300. And I think that's more of a reflection of the fact that those are two teams that definitely have a role to put him in, right? Now, I know certain other books have Buffalo at plus 250 and the Chiefs at plus 400, whatever book you want to use. But the reality is Buffalo is 1, Kansas City is 2, everywhere I've looked today. So what does that mean moving forward? Well, what that means is that the likelihood of Hopkins coming to the Eagles is probably not great. The Eagles have the 8th best odds to get him. Either they're plus 1,100 or plus 2,000. So, and I'm not exactly mad about it. As we talked about the other day with Jeff Mosher on Football at 4, it's not like Hopkins fits a specific need for the Eagles. Because even though he is an excellent contested catch guy, you already have that player in A.J. Brown. And no offense to D-Hop, but A.J. Brown is about 6 years younger. He's about 15, 20 pounds thicker in muscle and durability. Remember, Hopkins has missed a bunch of games in his career due to injuries. And on top of all that, Hopkins, what exactly is his role in this offense? I mean, if you kick Devonta Smith inside, is that really making the offense better or just adding another weapon? Again, if the Eagles got him, I wouldn't be upset necessarily, but I just look at it like it's not a need. If you told me the Eagles were adding another linebacker or another safety, or, you know, they worked out DJ Fluker this week and he could potentially be in camp, those things get me interested because I know they need linebacker depth. I know that the right guard position is not settled at all. I mean, I was listening to Jason Kelsey on Chris Long's Greenlight podcast, and Kelsey was talking about how, you know, oh, we'll see who the right guard is going to be. I don't even know. And they talk about a couple of the guys on the team like Cam Jurgens and others. But, Kelsey said, he's like, look, I don't even know if Jurgens is heavy enough to play right guard, because he said the most Jurgens has ever been about 307, and you want the guy to be more 315, 320. And if you don't think 15 pounds matters, then you don't have bad knees. Let me tell you that, okay? 15 pounds does a lot for you, negative or positive, depending on what you're doing, all right? But back to the Eagles. So Fluker getting a workout, I'm interested in that. I don't know if I get that excited about D-Hop if the Eagles were to sign him. I just feel like it's cool, it's exciting, it's interesting. But I feel like we have a younger, potentially better version of DeAndre Hopkins in A.J. Brown. So I think it's more likely that he ends up with either Buffalo or Kansas City. I understand why Buffalo is the betting favorite, because Buffalo has a very, very obvious need at receiver. Look, I know they got Stephon Diggs, and I know they got Davis. They got some nice players up there. But the problem with Buffalo is, after the two guys I just mentioned, they don't really have the depth. Like, even the Eagles have more depth at receiver and tight end than Buffalo does. Because let me remind you, after Diggs and Davis, it was Dawson Knox was their tight end. Isaiah McKenzie, do you get excited about him? I mean, their two running backs last year combined for 59 catches. Combined. I don't know if that gets you excited, but certainly doesn't get me excited. They need a guy who's going to be across from Diggs. They need a legitimate weapon across from him. So Hopkins makes a lot of sense for Buffalo. And then Kansas City. I mean, we know what Kansas City is. They're constantly loading and reloading and reshuffling. And so it makes sense. But like I said, for the Eagles, I mean, and maybe you guys feel differently at 609-403-0973. That's the text board. You can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app. It's free. Thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a happy hour Friday, filling in for Mike Gill. When you look at Hopkins, you realize that this guy has trouble staying healthy in recent years. He had a string of years in Houston where he played almost every game, every season. And that was a big reason why, when they got rid of him out of Houston, people gave it the side eye like, dude, how do you get rid of one of the most consistent players in the NFL? Well, the last two seasons in Arizona, he hasn't played more than 10 games in a season. He played 9 last year, 10 the year before. So you could argue he's not even in his prime anymore. He's not 100% himself anymore. And between being in an offense that really was kind of a mess near the end, and the fact that his quarterback was Kyler Murray, and nobody really knows what the trajectory of his career is at this point, he's probably better off going to a team where he is not the number one option anymore. And as I said, he is going to turn 31 next month. So he is 6 years older than A.J. Brown. And at 6'1", 210, I don't think that's what the Eagles need. They don't need another dude who's under 6'3". If you're going to add someone to this offense at receiver, give me a 6'3", 6'4" type of guy. And as I said, when you already have an A.J. Brown who's about 15 pounds heavier and about 6 years younger, I don't know if I need Hopkins. Look, if you were telling me that, just to use as an example, the Eagles could get Mike Williams, I would be like, okay, 6'4" Mike Williams. I mean, I know he's been injured a lot in his career, off and on, but 6'3" Mike Williams across from the explosive athlete that is A.J. Brown, and then you're kicking Devonta Smith into the slot. Sign me up for that. By the way, Mike Williams is about 3 years younger than DeAndre Hopkins as well. So, again, the betting odds out there right now is Buffalo 1, Kansas City 2, and then depending on what book you look at, the Ravens are either 3 or 4. So, and look, like I said, Hopkins told everybody where he wants to play. He wants to play with Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, or Justin Herbert. And I just got the latest odds sent to me here from one of the outlets, one of the betting outlets. Will not be named because they're not an advertiser here. Once your name mentioned, you could just advertise here on 97.3 ESPN. But Chiefs are number 1. Chiefs and Bills right now are tied for the best odds at plus 300 at the latest listing. I don't know why the Jets are number 2 or 3 at a lot of these books. I mean, are we just assuming that Hopkins wants to play with Aaron Rodgers because of the Jets? I don't know. Ravens are on the list. Chargers are there. I don't know why the Cowboys are here. He was asked on the I Am Athlete podcast what do you think about Dak Prescott. He basically just dismissed the question altogether. So I feel like the Cowboys are only a last ditch option for him. Eagles are way down the list of plus 1,500. I think that's because, like I said, I think that people realize the Eagles don't need Hopkins. They have a guy who's younger and better than him at this point in A.J. Brown. All right, Happy Hour Friday on the text board, 609-403-0973. Jeff in Ocean City says he's starting the weekend off with a Red Bull and vodka. Interesting decision. He says, partying on the beach at the Deauville this weekend in Strathmere. I like that choice, Jeff. Yeah. Good choice there. I would like to know Jeff in Ocean City's vodka of choice. I feel like there's about 20 different vodkas right now. And from my experience, and I'm not acting like I'm some vodka expert, but there is a definite difference between some of those liquids, So, Jeff in Ocean City, hope you get to enjoy your weekend. Matt and Kate May chiming in for Happy Hour Friday says, I just had a super Tully from the number 1 tavern in North Wildwood and followed up with an amazing cheesesteak from Russo's Market in North Wildwood. Memorial Day weekend off and running for Matt and Kate May. So good choices there, Matt. I like that. You got your liquid, you got your food. You're already enjoying the weekend. Matt and Kate May's got the right idea. Keep the messages coming in at 609-403-0973. And shout out to the anonymous person who just texted in JJ Redick. Right? For those who missed the show the other day, I was having a back and forth with one of the listeners, and I was like, JJ Redick's not even being interviewed for this job. Why are we talking about him for head coach? I went through this whole explanation, and now I just got random people just texting me JJ Redick. Even on my personal phone, people just text me like JJ Redick, LOL, and I'll just be like, yep, all right. If JJ Redick could play football, I mean, JJ Redick is not a guy who was like real physical, so I'm assuming that he would try to play receiver and try not to get hit. Is basically what he would do. He'd be a really tall slot receiver, though. I think JJ Redick was like, 6'5"? I gotta double check that. He'd be a really tall slot receiver. 6'4". Okay, he's 6'4". What was his last listed weight, JJ Redick? 6'4", 200. So he's actually about the same size as Mike Williams. That's interesting. He's about 12 pounds lighter than him, but all right. Jeff in Ocean City follows up and says it's Red Bull, not Red Bill. He goes with the Tito's vodka. All right, Tito's vodka. That's a classic. That's a good throwback. I approve. I think that's a good choice by you, Jeff, in Ocean City. Tito's is always a solid, good, reliable choice for folks out there. All right, keep the text coming in. 609-403-0973. Tell me what you're having for Happy Hour Friday, where you're hanging out this weekend. Later in the show, I will give you my rundown, town by town, places that I personally enjoy going to here at the Jersey Shore, because we do this every year. Mike Gill's not here today. Josh Hennig filling in. Mike Gill usually does his list of places to check out at the Jersey Shore. Well, I'll do my best to fill the void here on a Happy Hour Friday, Memorial Day weekend here on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget, we gave away the Shane Gillis tickets on Wednesday and Thursday. Well, today starts a new contest. If you go to 973ESPN.com or jump on the 973 ESPN mobile app, you have a chance to qualify to see Ice Cube at Ocean Casino Resort, and not just get tickets, get an overnight stay and a gift card to eat out, all at Ocean. It's an all-inclusive package. So you're not just getting to see Ice Cube, you're not just getting an overnight stay, but you're getting a dinner voucher. I mean, it's a win-win all across the board. So if you go to 973ESPN.com or jump on the 973 ESPN mobile app, the contest opened today. Just fill out the form and you have a chance to win this great prize given away thanks to Ocean Casino Resort and 97.3 ESPN. All right, we'll get back to the text board in just a little bit. Thanks to Jeff in Ocean City and Matt and Kate May for getting us started. Tell me what you're consuming this weekend. Tell me what your weekend plans are. DeAndre Hopkins released by the Cardinals. Phillies lose game 1 of the series to the Atlanta Braves. All that and more today on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig, filling in for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN.
Your official station for Summer at the Shore.
Line out towards left center field. That's going to fall for a hit. Racing around third towards the plate is Rhys Hoskins. And it's an RBI single for Castellanos.
97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Award-winning musician, actor, director, and producer Ice Cube is coming to Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort Friday, July 7th. Former NWA member Ice Cube, best known for Straight Outta Compton, will be bringing the energy in his iconic voice and powerful lyrics. Don't miss Ice Cube, Friday, July 7th, Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at theoceanac.com. That's theoceanac.com to get tickets to see Ice Cube Friday, July 7th at Ocean Casino Resort.
With summer savings at the Home Depot, we'll get your kitchen clicking with top brand appliances like a new GE refrigerator with internal water dispenser for a crisp, cool glass of water every time, or a GE oven with built-in air fryer for healthier, crispier options with no preheating. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online at the Home Depot, your innovative new appliances are just a click away too. Save up to 30% on select appliances plus $300 off select refrigerators at the Home Depot. Pricing valid May 18th through June 7th, 2023. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called Testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ROCK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321321. That's ROCK to 321321.
Some people are easily moved.
Wasn't that just the saddest movie ever?
Whatever. Others, not so much.
Oh, look at the puppies!
Just dogs, but smaller, so what? But even those who aren't easily moved.
Look, your long-lost brother's been found!
Oh, hi, Mike. Can be moved by us. Yeah, We're that good.
Use Clark's Moving and Storage in Rio Grande for your next local or long-distance move. Visit Clark's Moving and Storage online at clarksmoving.net.
Progressive protects more than just your home and car. You could save when you bundle your motorcycles, ATVs, boats, and RVs. Doesn't that sound good? Like the sound of your boat cruising along the intercoastal. And there's the sound of the prop hitting a really big rock. And now the sound of waves. Discounts. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers.
When you want experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence. Fences and decks and outdoor showers made of vinyl, aluminum, and wood. They've been serving you since 1952. You're gonna be the envy of your neighborhood.
Are you building a new home or renovating an existing one? As your exclusive South Jersey Active Yards dealer, we make it easy for contractors and homeowners alike to purchase high-quality fencing, railing, and shower enclosure kits. We have glass railing, cable railing, metal railing, and a mile of vinyl T-railing in stock. With materials delivered right to your home or job site, we make it easy to get the products you need when you need them.
So start planning your project today. Visit DennisvilleFence.com or our newest location at 229 Shore Road in Summers Point. Again, that's 229 Shore Road in Summers Point.
Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence. 1-800-499-FENCE.
Visit DennisvilleFence.com. Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code TRUST at checkout. That's harrys.com, code TRUST. Enjoy.
Better days. Healthier living. There are many reasons to start recovery. If you know someone who is suffering from addiction, we are always here to help. Make the call at 844-REACH-NJ.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Coming up in about 15 minutes from now, we'll talk with Mike Gill, the president of Atlantic City, get his thoughts on the Phillies and Braves series. And don't forget, coming up at 3:25, today we'll talk with Manny. We'll be on the call for Sunday Baseball. Phillies and Braves, and Water Perez will join us coming up on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig, Philly from Mike Gill on that happy hour Friday on 97.3 ESPN. Also, just remind everybody, please be safe. Memorial Day weekend is an opportunity for people to obviously take off, enjoy their vacation time, but please be responsible. Take care of yourself. You got to get an Uber or a Lyft or something. Just do it, man. You got to get a ride. Be responsible, folks. There's never a reason why you should put yourself or others at risk. And it's not just if you're been drinking or not. It's just if you've been out in the sun too long. A lot of times I used to be a lifeguard. I remember you would have people, maybe not drinking enough water. They get dehydrated, too much sun, right? So, just take care of yourself. Be safe out there. Enjoy the weekend and make it enjoyable for everybody else around you as well. Now to the Phillies, not as enjoyable. We'll get to some more of your messages for Happy Hour Friday. I see Ernie and Brigantine. I also see Mike chiming in from Upper Township, so we'll get to you guys as well coming up in just a bit. But I got to talk about the Phillies for a moment because that Phillies game last night really annoyed me because we were talking the last couple of days with Bob Wankel yesterday, Steve Buchanan the day before, and I just keep looking at this Phillies team, and I keep going back to it. And maybe this is my fault. Maybe I won't let go of this. Maybe I'm a jerk for this. But I won't let go of it when Dave Dombrowski told everybody last year, because people were asking about the defense. The defense was a serious issue. They were one of the worst defensive teams in baseball the first half of last season. And Dombrowski said, well, we will out hit our errors. We will hit so well, our offense will be so dynamic that the errors won't matter. And I feel like that was the attitude again coming into this year because you signed Trey Turner, right? And Trey Turner is one of the best players in baseball, all right? There's no question about that. But the offense gave you 5 runs yesterday. And your opening day starter allowed 5. And at some point, this organization is going to have to admit the same thing that they admitted last year. It doesn't matter how deep their lineup is or is not, that their pitching staff is just not good enough. If this team seriously wants to go back to the World Series again this year, they are going to have to upgrade. And last night was a brutal smack in the face about the why. Because Aaron Nola gave up 5 earned runs yesterday. Aaron Nola now, to his credit, leads the National League in innings pitched and batters faced. That's great, but your ERA is also almost 4.6. It's just unacceptable for a guy like Aaron Nola to go out there and what was the issue with Nola years ago? He couldn't get run support, right? Well, he goes out there, he gets 5 runs, and he can't get the job done. And to me, it's becoming more and more brutally obvious that this team can make the postseason, but they won't get out of the first or second round with this current pitching staff as currently constituted. And by the way, another game where Gregory Soto implodes coming out of the bullpen. I don't want to get down on the guy, but at some point, can someone explain to me how Soto was on a bad team last year? I mean, a bad team. The Tigers were really bad last year. How on earth did that guy get 30 saves in 60 innings pitched for a trash team last year? He's on a better team this year, and his numbers are way worse across the board. Last year he had 60 strikeouts and 60 innings. This year he has 12 strikeouts and 22 innings. And he's only 28. That trade is starting to feel worse and worse. Because remember, when that trade went down, people like me were complaining. And I was told by all the experts, Josh, what are you complaining about? You're getting a guy who was an all-star last year. He had 30 saves. He's a flamethrower from the left side. Realistically, the guy who's won you that trade is Cody Clemens. That trade would be a complete failure if you didn't get Cody Clemens. And I can't believe I'm saying that on Memorial Day weekend. Cody Clemens already has 4 home runs and 10 RBI in 22 games this year. I'm at the point where I'm even wondering, do you even need the trade for a first baseman? Just let Clemens keep playing first. Just let him play first. He's given you at least something. He's given you a much better effort than Gregory Soto is. And by the way, Clemens, because of the Phillies' whacked out pitching staff, he's also appeared in 3 games this year as a pitcher. Yeah, Roger Clemens' son has pitched in 3 games this year because the pitching staff at times just completely falls apart. This organization has to accept the reality, like last year, that their offense will not cover all of their problems. Matt Strahm has been an amazing find. Amazing acquisition. They got that one right. Kimbrel, he is Jekyll and Hyde. Some games he's great, other games he's not. Soto, you can't depend on him. Dominguez, he's been all right. Not great, he's been all right. I think the big thing with a guy like Dominguez is that, the strikeout numbers are there. So at least you feel like he's giving you something, even if he's not pitching perfect. He's still getting the swing and misses. Alvarado, he was pitching really good before he got injured. And hopefully when he comes back, he can pick up where he left off. But for me, the starting pitching has got to be upgraded. Aaron Nola's got a 4.6 ERA. Zach Wheeler's got a 4.11 ERA. Walker's got a 5.79 ERA. He's pitching tonight. That's supposed to be your 3 best pitchers right there. Unacceptable for a team that was in the World Series last year. And Ranger Suarez, we talked about it yesterday, he's pitching bad. He's not pitching well. The guy's pitched 11 innings, and he's given up 12 runs. I'm starting to wonder, did they bring him back too soon? Was the injury worse than we thought? Is he in his own head? I think you just need to send Ranger down to the minors and let him figure it out, because obviously he's not getting the job done up here. And poor Matt Strahm, he's not even a starter, but Matt Strahm has got 50 strikeouts in 35 innings. He might be your best pitcher. And that's a huge problem. Matt Strahm cannot be your best pitcher. This Phillies team is going to make you want to drink. All right? I know it's Happy Hour Friday, but watching Aaron Nola give up 5 runs last night made you want to hit it hard and early last night, because the Phillies gave you 5 runs. And then Nola and Soto both completely imploded before the end of the game, and you lost it in Atlanta. Atlanta, these first 2 games are giving you their 2 worst pitchers. If you can't win tonight, then tomorrow's looking a little tenuous. And I'm telling you right now, Sunday, that's Spencer Strider. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I'm not very confident you're going to win that game. Can you win the game? Of course you can win the game. But will you? I have my doubts. Mike Gill from the Press of Atlantic City will join us next. We'll get his thoughts on the Phillies Memorial Day weekend in Atlanta. Don't forget, coming up in the 3 o'clock hour, Eduardo Perez from Sunday Night Baseball will join us as well to talk about the Phillies and Braves series this weekend. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill on a Happy Hour Friday on 97.3 ESPN and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
From the beach,
the beaches are open and people are having a wonderful time,
to the ballpark.
Swing and a high fly ball, left field. That one is back. Gone. Harper delivers.
We've got you covered. The Sports Badge with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
The weather is getting warmer, and that means it's time for the Gentilini Motors Memorial Day celebration event that ends with our 47th annual Car and Truck Show on Saturday, June 3rd from 10 to 2. It's an all-American celebration with hot dogs and spicy sausages on the grill, vintage cars and trucks from all eras, and fun for the whole family. Visit us online at GentilinIMotors.com or in person at our Ford and Chevy dealerships today to save thousands off new or certified pre-owned vehicles. Get 0% financing on select models or or at least one of 11 different models for under $300 per month. Stop by Denley Motors to kick off the summer with us at our 47th annual Car and Truck Show. We take advantage of the best deals with real value and no empty promises on America's best-selling and most awarded brands. Located at 500 John S. Penn Boulevard next to the airport in Woodbine, New Jersey, we're just a short drive from anywhere.
Just a short drive from anywhere. Generally Family Motors.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
O'Reilly.
Does your vehicle have over 75,000 miles? Get maximum high-mileage engine protection with new Syntec Full Synthetic High-Mileage Motor Oil exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec High Mileage and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $34.99. Limit supply. Ask for Syntec High Mileage at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome to tonight's debate on the name of New Jersey's iconic breakfast meat.
Everyone knows it's pork roll.
Hey, calm down. The debate can finally be won thanks to the New Jersey Lottery's meaty new scratch-offs. The Jersey Debate with a top prize of $200,000.
Play the Jersey Debate. Name that meat scratch-offs with over $13 million in prizes. Anything can happen in Jersey.
Next topic. Is there a central Jersey?
Must be 18 year old and buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TOOL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TOOL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TOOL.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh, yeah. Love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
With GMF financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
At Bennett Chevrolet, we're selling new Chevys at real GM supplier employee prices and not 1 cent more. And you keep all the rebates. Rebates up to $8,000 right now during our Memorial Day Super Sale. Some dealers think they can imitate Bennett by giving you a discount, but they keep part or all rebates. Bennett Chevy gives you both the real deal GM supplier employee price plus all the rebates up to $8,000 during our Memorial Day Super Sale. And there's available 1.9% financing. Looking for used? Bennett will pay you a minimum $10,000 for any clunker, junker, or whatever you can drag to our lot towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least $10,000. We pay a lot more for good trades. And unlike other dealers, our sales team is non-commissioned. They're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. You've got to come experience the difference. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
Phillies back in action tonight and the rest of the weekend. They lost game 1 of their 4-game set. They actually got 7 of their next 8 days, all against National League East rivals, the Braves and the Mets, all on the road. Talk about it now with Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City. He joins the Sports Bash every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill on a happy hour Friday here on Memorial Day weekend on 97.3 ESPN. Mike, welcome in. How you doing today?
Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm doing all right, but I got to tell you, happy hour Friday being set aside, this Phillies team is making some people want to drink because the Phillies offense gave you 5 runs, and then Aaron Nola gave 5 runs right back. It started to become very obvious that this team, like last year with their defense, Mike, their offense cannot hit their issue because to me right now their biggest issue has to be their starting pitching.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree their starting pitching is a big question mark right now. Do you have faith in really anybody in that rotation who's out there? I mean, Nola has been solid, although he struggled last night. Wheeler has been okay, certainly not pitching up to Wheeler standards. Taijuan Walker, who pitches tonight, has been hit or miss. He's been very good, or he's had trouble getting out of the first inning. Ranger Suarez has struggled in his 3 starts back after his elbow trouble, and there is no number 5 starter. So that is a big issue right now, is the starting pitching, and you compound it with a lineup that has been inconsistent at best.
I know the line has been inconsistent, but I just my mind keeps going to. I remember when Dave Dombrowski said last year. I'm sure you remember it too, Mike, when he said that the offense was going to out hit their defensive problems, and when it became obvious that it couldn't, they went out and got Brandon Marsh at the deadline. And I'm feeling like the offense, even if it was hitting on full cylinders, I mean, you can't ask a team to go out and get you 8-10 runs a night just because Gregory Soto and Aaron Nola can't keep the ball in the ballpark.
Yeah, well, I would think that they haven't been able to even do that. This is a team built to outslug its issues, right? This is a team built on the strength of its lineup, and its lineup has not performed this season. All you got to do is look at the run differential, the difference between last season and this season at this point of the year. At this point of the year, the Phillies were under 500. Obviously, it was a few days before they fired Joe Girardi, but I believe they were either even or slightly, +1 or +2 in run differential. Now this team right now, I think, is -30 or -33, 34, somewhere in there in run differential. So I think that's a big issue. I don't think there's any way to couch it. I mean, the loss of Rhys Hoskins has hurt them. Trey Turner off to a slow start has hurt them. Bryce Harper not here the first couple of weeks this season has hurt them. Kyle Schwarber, a slow start has hurt them. So the lineup has definitely not performed. The starting pitching has not performed. The defense has been as shaky as ever, and that's why you're 23-27 right now and kind of struggling.
Yeah, they're -34 right now in the run differential compared to the Mets, who are just -12. So a huge, huge difference there. Mike, is it as simple as the team just has to find themselves, or do you think that this team is going to be able to dig themselves out of this hole before Dombrowski can make a trade? Because they went down to Atlanta, and they're facing Atlanta's 2 worst pitchers yesterday and tonight. And I feel pretty confident saying they're not beating Strider on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, they have to start winning some games and putting together more consistent play, right? I understand the baseball season is a marathon, but we are at a measuring stick here on Memorial Day. And even if you're running a marathon, if you're 3 or 4 miles behind the lead pack with 3 miles to go, I don't care how fast you sprint in those last 3 miles, you're not going to catch the leaders right now. So they have to continue to win some games right now, to stay in contention for that wild card, to stay in contention for the division. As you said, the Braves don't look as imposing as they did a couple of weeks ago because of injuries to their starting rotation. They're having some bullpen issues. You saw them last night with Minter was not great. Iglesias has been okay, but his velocity has been down. They don't have Kyle Wright. They don't have Max Fried. They're out. They're going to be out for a while. So the Braves aren't as imposing as they were, but you've got to win some games to keep in contact with that lead pack right now. And so far the Phillies just haven't done it. They're just not playing very good baseball right now. The hope was obviously, that Trey Turner home run and the Alec Bohm walk-off hit would kind of propel this team into Atlanta and give them some momentum. And we saw yesterday that the old baseball saying is true. Momentum is only as good as your next day's starting pitcher. And Nola wasn't very good yesterday. And therefore, all the good feelings and thoughts that they left town with on Wednesday are gone. And now you're facing a lot of questions going forward.
Mike McGay for the Press of Atlantic City joining us here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill on a happy hour Friday on 97.3 ESPN. Are you concerned at all that we have already seen the best of Zach Wheeler? Because some people are bringing up his age, that, he's not getting any younger. So, should we be concerned about Zach Wheeler?
I wouldn't be concerned about him falling off a cliff age-wise. What I'm concerned about, and it was a concern that a lot of people had, and I think it has taken a toll on this entire starting rotation, is the impact of the innings they pitched and pitching so far deep into the postseason last year. I think you're seeing that impact on Ranger Suarez right now. I think you're seeing it on Zach Wheeler a little bit. So that's the impact that I would be worried about. I certainly don't think that Zach Wheeler is going to fall off a cliff because of his age or experience. I think what you're seeing now with the starting rotation is the impact of the extra innings they had to pitch last year during the playoff run.
Mike, a big picture question for you, because I was talking about this the other day, that the Eagles' success has become this massive shadow over the other teams in the city, in that, the Eagles have been to 2 Super Bowls in the last several years. They've been to 3 in the last 20. And outside of last year, the Phillies have had pretty much no success in the last, 10 plus years. The Sixers can't get out of the second round. The Flyers are a dumpster fire. So is there something to be said for the fact that the Eagles' success has, basically put a curve on all the other teams and our expectations of them?
Well, I don't know if it's put a curve on them at all. All I would say is this. You look at the attendance up at Citizens Bank Park. I think the Phillies are number 2 in attendance in all of baseball. They're drawing 40,000 fans, to every weekend game. They've had multiple big crowds. I mean, I think sometimes the Eagles' dominance of Philadelphia sports scene is a self-proclaimed myth sometimes. There are a lot of Phillies fans out there. They're at the ballpark. I see them at the ballpark. They're there just about every game, and they're ready to win. The team just hasn't, done its part. But, certainly from a fan perspective, I think the Phillies attendance has exceeded what even the most optimistic person would have said the bump they got off last postseason was.
Mike, I want to ask you about one of your most recent articles in the Press of Atlantic City, the local news in the area. For those who didn't hear, one of the best coaches in South Jersey football history is back on the sidelines. Paul Sacco is going to be back on a football field this fall. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, St. Joe coach Paul Sacco stepped down at St. Joe last year, after last season, the winningest coach in South Jersey history with something like 350 wins or thereabouts, so in 41 seasons. Kind of confirmed yesterday that he's going to be an assistant at ACIT, and it's an interesting situation. ACIT is a football program that is building from the bottom up. They just started their program. They played freshmen last year. They're going to play JV this year. They're going to play varsity in 2024. And Sacco is going there to sort of help them build a program, similar to the one that he built, or I'm sure he hopes is similar to the one he built at St. Joe. So it's great to see him back on the sidelines and doing what he does well.
Just an interesting dynamic I would ask you about, because in the age of school choice and ACIT being not a direct sending district, how do you think, him being at ACIT could potentially change things as we move forward?
Well, a lot of people look at ACIT as, a potential football sleeping giant because they can draw students from all over Atlantic County, right? But one thing I've seen in all my years of doing this is football is maybe the hardest sport to get right. It's not easy to build a winning football program. It has more to do than just numbers or the numbers of athletes that you can attract to your school. It's a complicated process. So it's not like flipping a light switch. So I'm sure having him there is a big boost for ACIT, because he was a guy who's won 20 state championships since the non-public state playoffs began in 1993. So ACIT has a lot of advantages as far as building a football program, as far as the players and people it can attract to the school. It's an excellent school. It's a new school. They're going to have outstanding facilities. I understand there's improvements to build even more facilities, but it's not as easy as flipping a switch, having a winning football program. So having Paul Stockel there is definitely a big plus for the Red Hawks.
Check out all the details over at PressOfAtlanticCity.com. Mike McGarry at Press AC McGarry joining us on a Friday edition of the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike, enjoy the weekend. Be safe out there if you travel around, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, certainly. Same back to you, Josh. Everybody out there, have a good Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Still to come, we'll talk more baseball with Eduardo Perez from Sunday Night Baseball. They'll be calling the Phillies and Braves on Sunday night on ESPN television, and also more your text. Happy Hour Friday here on 97.3 ESPN. Corey, Doc, and more. We'll get to your guys' messages on the other side. Join us. Happy Hour Friday, 97.3 ESPN.
This weekend on ESPN Radio, it's a showdown in the National League East.
Kyle Schwarber, and this place is going bananas.
Kyle Schwarber and the Philadelphia Phillies begin a 10-game road trip in Atlanta when they go head-to-head against the NL East leading Braves. The Philadelphia Phillies at the Atlanta Braves. Coverage begins tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern and Sunday at 6 Eastern. Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN.
What dealer has new Kias under 25 grand and only 2.9% financing?
Who is Matt Blatt Kia?
What dealer will pay off your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth?
Who is Matt Blatt Kia?
Correct. Have a job clearing $350 per week? Matt Blatt Kia in Egg Harbor Township or Toms River wants to approve you. New 23 Kia Forte or Soul, 0 down, and just 2.9% financing for 48 months. Plus, we're overloaded with trades. Low mileage, one owner trades, many with remaining factory warranty, and they must go. Make room for new Kias arriving daily. Just because you don't see your new Kia on the lot doesn't mean you can't be driving it home tomorrow with our exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. $27.78 per thousand financed. Go to mattblattkia.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 5/31/23. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Wow, Total Wine has everything at the lowest price in town. I found this single barrel bourbon, an awesome Cabernet, and Ruthie.
Ruthie?
That's me. Always happy to help. Love what you find at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, be 21.
Award-winning musician, actor, director, and producer Ice Cube is coming to Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort Friday, July 7th. Former NWA member Ice Cube, best known for Straight Outta Compton, will be bringing the energy in his iconic voice and powerful lyrics. Don't miss Ice Cube, Friday, July 7th, Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at theoceanac.com. That's theoceanac.com to get tickets to see Ice Cube Friday, July 7th at Ocean Casino Resort.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Memorial Day sale, May 26th through June 5th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Do you love a good cigar almost as much as your family? Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you can find that perfect cigar at Smokers Haven. With 5 New Jersey locations, Smokers Haven has the finest selection of cigars in the area, like Ashton, My Father's, Romeo and Julieta, Monte Cristo, and more. All from the finest tobacco leaves and hand-rolled by the world's finest cigar makers. All locations are fully open. Stop in and let them help you find the perfect cigar to pair with your life. See all they have and their locations at smokershavennj.com.
A lot of new enrollments, huh? Braylon, Brayden.
Monique's daycare is crawling with new arrivals.
Hey, sweetie, are you hungry?
She needs more early childhood educators.
Did your sock slip off again?
And a nap.
Hey there, little guy. Okay. Shh. Whoa!
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Some people are easily moved.
Wasn't that just the saddest movie ever?
Whatever. Others, not so much.
Oh, look at the puppies!
Just dogs, but smaller, so what? But even those who aren't easily moved.
Look, your long-lost brother's been found!
Oh, hi, Mike. Can be moved by us. Yeah, we're that good.
Use Clark's Moving and Storage in Rio Grande for your next local or long-distance move. Visit Clark's Moving and Storage online at clarksmoving.net.
The season for doing is here with summer savings at the Home Depot. Find everything to bring out the best of your home with all the colors of summer. Whether seeding your yard or planting a garden, the Home Depot's got what you need. Visit our garden center and shop special buys now, like the 1-quart Rio for water-efficient nonstop blooms that soak up the sun all season long, now just 2 for $10. Make your summer with savings from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
For exceptional savings on your next BMW, visit BMW of Atlantic City. Shop our entire lineup of your favorite new BMW models, located in Egg Harbor Township and online at bmwatlanticcity.com.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
Touchdown!
Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square Media Station. 3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill on a happy hour Friday on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank Sales. Speaking of 97.3 ESPN.com, you're straight out of Compton playing in the background. Well, you have a chance to go see Ice Cube this summer at Ocean Casino Resort. Contest running right now at 97.3 ESPN.com, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. All you got to do is fill out the form, hit submit, and you have a chance to win not just premium seating tickets to the concert at Vision Hall, but an overnight stay at Ocean Casino Resort and a gift voucher for dining, all thanks to the Sports Pass at Ocean Casino Resort. So go to 973 ESPN.com, triple 973 ESPN mobile app. You have a chance to go see Ice Cube this summer. I'm a little jealous. I mean, I wish I could get on this contest. I want to go see Ice Cube and have an overnight stay at Ocean Casino Resort. But no, we're giving it to you guys. You work at the station, you don't qualify for a contest. I wouldn't mind go see Ice Cube. So we're playing the Ice Cube music throughout the day. Happy Hour Friday on Memorial Day weekend on 97.3 ESPN. We gave away the Shane Gillis tickets on Wednesday and Thursday, and today we start a new contest. Ice Cube, July 7th at Ocean Casino Resort, where you can get your tickets to see him at Ovation Hall. Still to come here this hour, Eduardo Perez from Sunday Night Baseball will join us up with the Phillies and Braves, plus football at 4 with Adam Kaplan for the Inside the Birds podcast, and the 5 o'clock hour. Friend of mine, Andy McNamara, covers the NFL and fantasy sports. Will join us. His thoughts on Andrew Hopkins. News in his news. Andrew Hopkins is a free agent released outright by the Cardinals. And I got to tell you guys, nobody on the text board, nobody on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app PMs, nobody is expressing interest in Hopkins. I feel like you guys are just kind of just giving in to my whole explanation earlier in the show when I told you guys that I personally think that A.J. Brown is a younger and potentially better version of D-Hop at this point. Feels like that's kind of where you guys are laying it out there with. For this Happy Hour Friday, a couple more messages coming in. Doc and Mays Landing. Now, I got to tell you, Doc, he sent this message into the DMs. I have no idea if I'm gonna say this right, Doc. So, if I'm not seeing it right, but Doc basically said that he's, going out to eat some, tikka masala. Now, if I remember correctly, tikka masala, that is, uh, a type of chicken, isn't that marinated with, like, um, it's got, like, you got yogurt and barbecue flavoring and basically is the, chicken tikka masala? An interesting choice there by Dr. Mays Lane. Dr. Mays Lane is going up he's going for that, fancy stuff. I remember I've seen tikka masala on menus, but I've never actually had it myself. Maybe that's just a bad job by me. From the text board. So listen, Dr. Mays Landing, happy Memorial Day weekend to you. Enjoy yourself, all right? Corey chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, Josh, happy hour Friday. I'm taking some Cape May Orange Crush and some Chick-fil-A for after 5 p.m. Have a great weekend. Corey, the Commanders fan, chiming in. Corey, a couple things. One, the problem with what you said is Chick-fil-A is not in Cape May County. It's one of the most ridiculous things in the world that Mays Landing, Atlantic County and Cumberland County both have multiple Chick-fil-A's. No Chick-fil-A's in Cape May County. So, Corey, if you're getting Chick-fil-A, you're obviously not doing it anywhere in Cape May County. Orange Crush, always a classic grab. I know that I feel like a lot of places claim to have the best Orange Crush, so I think it kind of depends on your personal preference. As I said earlier with Jeff in Ocean City talking about the Red Bull and the vodka. Listen, I think a lot of it comes down to what vodka you use and what kind of, orange are you using, because I'll tell you something. There is a definitive difference in terms of quality with the type of vodka you use, the type of juice you use. Because if you're one of those businesses, and I'm not going to say names here on 97.3 ESPN because it's a happy hour Friday and it's Memorial Day weekend, we're not here to put anyone down. But I will tell you one thing. There are some businesses that use the cheapest possible juice they can get their hands on. And that's no bueno, folks. That is not acceptable in my mind. If you're going to offer customers an Orange Crush or any type of drink that has juice in it, don't go for cheap as possible. Because you know what? People like me aren't going to show up at your business anymore. I'm just putting it out there. The other thing with Corey, he's a Commanders fan. I don't know if you guys heard, but the Commanders are actually in trouble because they got the ruling recently that their trademark filing for the name Commanders has been denied by the United States government. The U.S. government patent office has told them that they cannot patent the name Commanders because it's too similar to other entities and other events. So there's a possibility that Josh Harris taking over Washington, they might not be called the Commanders anymore. I always said they should have just kept it Washington Football Team. First of all, it was funny because the name's acronym was WFT, so that was always funny. But the other thing is that football team at least sounds a little distinguished. So it seems, a little dignified, a little professional, right? Commanders, you sound like you're a USFL team. You don't sound like an NFL team. It's a horrible name for a National Football League team. That would be like if the Phillies changed their names to the Seagulls. Like, nobody would respect you. You can't call yourself the Seagulls. That's like a minor league baseball team name. It's just, Washington might have to change their name again for those who didn't hear. So, Corey, I hope you don't have too much Commanders gear because you might have to be swapping it out for new stuff soon. More messages coming in. Ernie and Brigantine. I didn't get to Ernie's message in the first hour at 609-403-0973. It says, hey, Josh, happy hour Friday to you. Heading to the Cove Restaurant and Bar to celebrate my wife's birthday. I'll be having Tito's Tonic and Lime. That's Ernie and Breezy. That's how 3 people who are hitting the vodka on a happy hour Friday. First of all, Ernie, happy birthday to your wife. I hope you guys have a great time this weekend. I give you a thumbs up on the Tito's. Personally, I'm not a big vodka and tonic guy personally, but I understand for a lot of people that is a go-to, and I still respect it. Okay. By the way, somebody clarified that tikka masala is Indian food. So thank you. I gotta say, I feel like Indian food is a area of, or should I say, a genre of food that I am not as well versed in as I should be. And I think that that's probably like a bucket list item that I need to expand my taste a little bit, because I know a lot about Italian, obviously, because I'm Italian. My great grandparents came here from Italy back in, I believe it was 1930. I got to double check the actual year, but so my great grandparents came here from Italy, and I know a lot about Hispanic food. I know a lot about different Asian, Japanese, Chinese foods. I know a good amount of Mediterranean dishes, but Indian food is not something I'm very well versed in. So I think I might have to go at some point and go get a tikka masala chicken just so I can speak a little bit more knowledgeably about it. So, but thank you for that, texter, for the clarification there. Also chiming in, Mike texted in, Mike Carlin, who's co-hosting the Locker Room with Billy Schweim tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike says, happy hour Friday to you and the listeners. I am going out to the Point in Summers Point. I'll see you tomorrow. Mike also says, I'll have a drink for you, Josh. But so thank you, Mike, for thinking of me. Thank you for all chiming in for happy hour Friday so far. A lot of vodka drinks. What happened to the beer drinkers? When Mike Gill usually does this, we get about 20 different beer recommendations. It's all vodka so far today. I don't know what's going on with that. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I was talking with somebody yesterday about the Phillies, and they brought up to me off the radio about, how frustrating it is for the Phillies to be here because of how well Zach Eflin is pitching. And I was watching Eflin last night a little bit, and he had another great outing. And it's another example of the angst of the Philadelphia sports fan, because, when we were talking about this week about trying to improve the team around Joel Embiid, and some people are recommending trade Tyrese Maxey, and people are screaming, no, don't trade Maxey. Well, it's because of people like Zach Eflin. It's because of people like Scott Rowland on the baseball side. It's because of players like, Jerry Stackhouse went on, had a very long NBA career. It's all of these young guys who get traded away and people forget the Flyers had Peter Forsberg, but he was traded as part of the Eric Lindros deal. I'm not saying the Flyers would have been any better with, Forsberg instead of Lindros, but it's something to think about, right? It's the idea that if you are a team like the Phillies and you have this guy in Eflin that you cultivated, that you brought up in the system, he's one of your guys, you let him walk for what basically is a less annual average salary than the guy you brought in, Taijuan Walker, and then he goes to Tampa and he has a 3.17 ERA. He's 7-1 in 9 starts. And on top of all of that, he's got a really good whip, 1.019. I mean, all the numbers say that this guy's having a great year, and he looks comfortable on the mound down there. And it's a hindsight is 2020 deal, because you look at a guy like Eflin, who was in Philadelphia, who was one of your guys, But there were a couple of things going against him. One was the injury history. Basically for about a 3-year period, the guy was never healthy. And there were a lot of reports last year that, he didn't want to go back to the bullpen again. He was not happy pitching out of the bullpen in the postseason. He only did it because the team asked him to do it. And now he gets to be a starter in Tampa. Now, you could also argue that Tampa maximizes players more than anyone else in the sport. So, maybe if Eflin signed with the Rangers instead of the Rays, maybe he's not running out there with a 3.17 ERA and a whip of 1.019. But the point is that there's a lot of angst about this Phillies team because you let Eflin walk, you brought in Walker, and we all remember, well, maybe not we all do, but I remember why Walker was brought in here. Walker was brought in here because he was supposed to be a younger version of Kyle Gibson. The idea was that you brought in Walker to be an innings eater and to be a guy who could go out there and give you the production that you were hoping you would get from Eflin and that you didn't expect to get ever again from Kyle Gibson. Because you go with Walker, he had 2 straight years of almost 160 innings pitched. He's starting 29 games a year for the Mets, and he was a big-time prospect when he came up with the Mariners years ago. So he has talent, he has ability. He's not the greatest pitcher in the world, but he's a guy who gives you starts, who gives you innings. And you thought, well, Kyle Gibson's getting older. We don't want to bring him back for big money. Well, now Kyle Gibson is in Baltimore, having also a good year. He's tied with Aaron Nola for the most starts in all of baseball. And he's already got 66 innings in 11 starts. That means he's averaging 6 innings a start. And with a 3.82 ERA, you could argue that the Phillies could use Kyle Gibson right now. And that sounds crazy, I know, for some people, because Gibson was a Jekyll and Hyde pitcher last year, and that's why you let him walk. You let him walk, not to use the pun, but for Taijuan Walker, because the idea is that Walker was going to come in here and be an innings eater for you and be basically a better version of Gibson. So the 2 guys you let leave, Zach Eflin is now in Tampa, Kyle Gibson now in Baltimore. Both of them are playing way better than we expected. And Taijuan Walker, he's been really Jekyll and Hyde for this team. So to me, I appreciate the consternation that Philly fans are going through because they're looking at this team and they're saying, guys, what's going on here? They're looking at this team and they're saying, what was this organization doing? You had people who made sense. You let them go. And now you're, going out there and your best pitcher on the staff is Matt Strahm, not Aaron Nola, not Zach Wheeler, not Taijuan Walker, not Ranger Suarez. Bailey Falter got sent down to the minor leagues. Matt Strahm. And that's a problem. You went from a team that looked like the pitching staff was a stable positive for this team. You invested all these resources in the bullpen. And now you got statistically a mid to poor pitching staff. It's very frustrating to me. And I feel your guys' pain. Joey D and Ventnor chiming in yesterday and everybody else. You look at this Phillies team and it's like we're right back where we were last year. When we were going into Memorial Day weekend last year, it was almost the same exact record. But as Mike McGarry said, the run differential was way different. Why? Because the pitching staff was better last year. The pitching staff that had Kyle Gibson on it was better at this point last year than they are this year. On one hand, you anticipate Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler turning it around. But on the flip side, you also look at Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, and you're concerned. You're worried. Because you're thinking, what if they don't turn it around? Then what happens? I don't know who exactly the Phillies should or shouldn't go after. I know there's a lot of speculation about Shane Bieber's future, for example, but I'll ask you guys. You guys can chime in at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. If you have to trade like an Andrew Painter to get a high caliber pitcher, is that a sacrifice you're willing to make? We'll talk more Phillies baseball coming up next. Eduardo Perez from Sunday Night Baseball joins me here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill on a happy hour Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you out there listening, driving in your cars, wherever you're at. Thank you for listening to us on 973 ESPN.
A sports station that hits a home run every time.
The 1-1 hit in the air, left field. That one way back, on its way and out of here. Home run, left field, Trey Turner.
It's 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's home for the best Phillies sports talk.
It's almost summer. The beach, baseball games, theme parks, and rising prices and interest rates. Wait, that's not part of this ad. Interest rates are still rising. Most auto prices are over MSRP, and large trucks and SUV trade values are rapidly declining. You probably missed out on record trade allowances, but not at Matt Blatt Mitsubishi. We want your trade, no matter the make, condition, or what you owe. Then drive home in your brand new 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or Outlander SUV with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty with 2.9% financing and 0 down payment. Plus, Matt Blatt Mitsubishi's 4-day love it or leave it return policy. You simply can't make a mistake or take $9,000 off MSRP with a PHEV lease on every unit in stock. Simply Matt Blatt Mitsubishi. Offers approved with Tier 1 credit through Ally Financial. Go to mattblattmitsubishi.com for complete details. Plus tax, license, registration fees. Credit and dealer discount expires 6/5/22. So come in today and get your deal your way. Located right in the heart of Glassboro for over 30 years.
Your invitation to summer has arrived with 50% off everything for a limited time through Memorial Day weekend at Banana Republic Factory. Think breezy dresses, linen suiting, and more polished sun-ready styles only at your nearest Banana Republic Factory store.
Hi, Robert Downey Jr. here. Did you know that over $10.3 billion was lost to online crime last year alone? Online crime is a huge problem. It affects everyone, and that's why I've partnered with Aura. Aura gives you the tools you need to stay safe online. Fraud and identity theft protection, a password manager, parental controls, and more. Sign up for a free 2-week trial today at aura.com/Robert.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials Light Trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials Light Trap. Insecticide-free protection.
At Ocean First Bank, our first thought is you. We put you first in all we do. Community banking for a century. We treat you like your family. Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Yes, 5.05% APY. For a limited time, when you open a 13-month CD with at least $10,000 of new money to Ocean First, you can earn this great return. Don't delay. Visit oceanfirst.com for complete details and to open online.
Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Certain rules and restrictions apply. Member FDIC.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Wow, Total Wine has everything at the lowest price in town. I found this single barrel bourbon, an awesome Cabernet, and Ruthie.
Ruthie?
That's me. Always happy to help. Love what you find at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, be 21.
With GMF financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
At Bennett Chevrolet, we're selling new Chevys at real GM supplier employee prices and not 1 cent more. And you keep all the rebates. Not some. I said you keep all the rebates. Up to $8,000 right now during our Memorial Day super sale. Some dealers think they can imitate Bennett by giving you a discount, but they keep part or all the rebates. Bennett Chevy gives you both the real deal GM supplier employee price plus all the rebates. Up to $8,000 during our Memorial Day super sale. And there's available 1.9% financing. Looking for used? Bennett will pay you a minimum $10,000 for any clunker, junker, or whatever you can drag to our lot towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least $10,000. We pay a lot more for good trades. And unlike other dealers, our sales team is non-commissioned. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill here on Happy Hour Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone out there here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Don't forget, this weekend, ESPN's got you covered. Phillies and Braves all weekend long. ESPN Radio's got coverage of the Phillies and Braves tomorrow at 3:30 and Sunday at 6 p.m. Sunday Night Baseball has got Phillies and Braves, and Eduardo Perez will be on the call as he is each Sunday night on ESPN television. He joins us right now here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Eduardo, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm doing really well, especially now that I'm on with you.
I appreciate you jumping on. So one of the conversations we've been having before you came on is this Phillies team, they have almost the same record as last year, but the run differential is completely different. You know, for you, when you look at this Phillies team, do you see parallels from last year to this year, or do you think this year's a completely different set of issues?
I think it's a completely different set of issues. I'll be straight up with you. Last year around this time, we didn't think we were going to get Bryce Harper back, right, from injury. We thought, you know, they're done. This is a team that by the time when he does come back, it's they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle in a major way, but it hasn't been that way. You know, it's been a different story for them. It's been a completely different story. So, you know, right now, Trey Turner has not been the Trey Turner that we're used to seeing and the one that they thought they were going to see. You look at Rhys Hoskins getting hurt in spring training, lost for the entire season with the knee injury. That also threw him up. That also threw him for a curve. Schwarber didn't start off the season that hot as well. And then you look at the pitching. Nola's been inconsistent. He's been up and down. And you know, you hope on those horses that they're going to be there. You're going to be able to count. You're going to count on them. But it's just been a little bit difficult for them to get going right now.
When you look at this pitching staff, Nola, he's not pitching very consistent at all. Wheeler, he's not pitching. I mean, really, the Phillies' best pitcher is Matt Strahm, and that's a problem. So, like, do you think this team, is it worth trading a guy like, let's say, Andrew Painter, get a guy who could come in here and maybe be a new leader of this staff, or do you think that, you know, you want to wait out and see if Wheeler and Nola can turn this around?
Well, the thing is with Painter, it's the same thing. You had the elbow injury also in spring training. They were counting on him, and I thought he was going to end up breaking camp with the Phillies. I mean, you look at spring training, his locker was right next, and it was no coincidence that it was right next to Zach Wheeler. They were counting on it in a major way. He had that step back. They're hoping to get him back soon, but, you know, right now you have to deal with what you have. Another issue they had early on is they lost Ranger Suarez for some time. He's back. And once you get that consistency of that 1, 2, 3, to be able to go in, they're going to go with the bulk guy on Sunday, as a matter of fact. So it's going to be, right now it's more offense, I believe, than with the pitching side of it. Yeah, it's going to get exposed a little bit when you have an offense that you have to face, like the Atlanta Braves, that are deep from top to bottom. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the opposing teams as well. But with the Phillies right now, it's about being able to just hold on, hope that Bryce Harper gets hot like he did yesterday, got a home run, and count on the rest of the lineup. But Trey Turner is going to have to be a major key component for the Philadelphia Phillies to go on a major run.
Speaking of Trey Turner, what do you say to the Philly fans who look at him and you know how sports fans are, especially in a city like Philadelphia? Hey, we gave this guy all this money, and he gave you that big moment on Wednesday, tying the game, sending it to extra innings. But overall, he's been rocky. He has not been the Trey Turner that people expected.
You know what? I've been diving in knee deep, looking at his fundamentals and everything, and I'll have a breakdown done for Sunday. It's pretty much done right now. I've seen some flaws in his mechanics, and I know that he knows it. I know that the Phillies are aware of it. I know it's easier to tell them, okay, this is what you're doing, but fixing it sometimes when you get in a bad habit and bad mechanics, it's hard to get out of. And baseball, the beauty of baseball is it's not like football where you play every Sunday or you play one time a week, depending on that given week, if it's a Thursday, not football or whatever it may be. This is an everyday event. And how can you get out of it while you continue to play? Is it sitting them down for 2 days and saying, okay, let's work on the mechanics and bringing it back? That could work, and maybe that could be an option. But right now, because of his speed, he can still create a little havoc. He's still playing decent defense, but the bottom line is the mechanics have to be fixed. And right now, he's way off from where he was last year.
We're talking with Eduardo Perez. He'll be on the call Sunday Night Baseball, Phillies and Braves on ESPN television. You can follow him on Twitter at PerezEd. Eduardo, when you look ahead to Sunday, right now the Phillies, they're not seeing the best pitcher last night and tonight for the Braves, but Sunday is that guy, Spencer Strider. Tell me about, in your eyes, as a guy who used to play the game, what makes Spencer Strider so dangerous?
His fastball. I mean, it's electric. He trusts his fastball. It has ride. Last year, when you talk about vertical movement, if you want to talk analytically here, it had a drop of like a 17-degree drop. That now it's having a 19-degree drop. He's getting better with it. His spin rate is high with it. This guy has a lot of confidence between that pitch and the breaking pitch, and he's pretty much a two-pitch pitcher. Yeah, he'll throw you the changeup, but not at a high rate. It's fastball slider. Here we go. And it's over the top. It's command. It's electric. And from the angle that he throws it from, that's why he gets all those swings and misses. It stays pretty much on plane. And what that means in easy terms, and you know that it's basically impossible to do, but for a hitter, it seems like that ball is rising. And once you're so used to being able to hit the spot that you appreciate and you think that that's where the baseball is going to be, by the time you commit to it, it's a little too late, as you end up swinging right under it.
For a lot of people who are not the diehard baseball fans, Memorial Day weekend is kind of like the line of demarcation for, okay, now we're going to get into the baseball season. People want to know, are the Atlanta Braves the best team in the National League?
Right now, you know what's interesting? They are on the field. They're playing like it on the field. Offensively, they look like the best team on the field. I mean, they have depth behind the plate with Murphy and Darno. Marcell Ozuna starting to swing the bat after hitting 084 in the first month of the year. He's hitting over a 370 clip now in the month of May. You have one of the best first basemen in the league in Matt Olson. You can go around defensively. They are solid. Austin Riley, we saw what he did yesterday. 2 home runs, both of them over 354 feet in distance. The other one was 355 and almost the same level. They can play. And then I can't Ronald Acuna Jr. out, probably the MVP of the year, of the season. And he's only getting better and better on both sides of the baseball. And because of that, you could say yes. What makes you sort of, and what makes me hesitant to all of this is the starting pitching. And I'm talking about the homegrown pitchers and the active pitchers. I'm not including Max Fried in this conversation right now because he's on the IL. Are there better staffs out there? And the answer is yes. But so far, this pitching staff has been able to withstand any offense. And you have to give a lot of credit to their amateur drafting department, because 4 out of the 5 guys on the pitching staff on the rotation, they're all homegrown, but they were all signed between 2020 and 2021. And that's impressive right there for Alex Anthopoulos and his group.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you a little bit of when the Braves were in the early 90s with guys like Tom Glavine, and then they got Smoltz in that trade and they were trotting them out there before they got Maddox, right? It's the kind of the same idea, but rinse and repeat for the organization.
Yeah, you look at the two teams that right now have, from top to bottom, I'm talking 1 through 5 in the rotation, that they're all homegrown, because Charlie Morton was an original Brave. In 2002, he signed before he went all around, then he came back. But they're all homegrown. And then you look at the Houston Astros, they're also homegrown. The rest of the league, they've gone outside the organization to go get help, either via free agency, trade, whatever it may be. And yes, I'm aware that Max Fried came in a trade from San Diego, but he's on the IL right now. That's why I'm making the case as of the active Atlanta Brave pitchers right now. You have to give them a lot of organizational credit.
Eduardo, you mentioned the Mets. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention them, because there's a lot of Met fans too in this area. They're looking at that team and they're saying, man, we are lucky. They're probably saying we're lucky to be 5.5 games behind the Braves right now, right? Looking at that team, there were a lot of expectations for them coming into this season.
Absolutely, 100%. Look, this is a team, and they can look and say, okay, we don't have Edwin Diaz, right? But that happened in the World Baseball Classic. They've moved forward. Robertson's done a very nice job. The combination of Ottavino and Robertson, they've done a nice job at the back end so far. What the New York Mets have to do that they have not done is show power in the first inning. They haven't hit home runs in the first inning. They haven't set their foot down and said, look, this is who we are, and we are going to go and pummel you. We're going to beat you, and we're going to do it early on. We're going to take the pressure away from our starting staff having to be so perfect and having to come from behind the entire time. It's a different game when you can attack early. You look at the Atlanta Braves. In the first inning, man, they are so good. They hit home runs. They drive in runs. They create havoc with Ronald Acuna Jr. at the top. Yesterday, you saw what they did in the first inning again. They come to play early. And I don't know if they have to change the way or train of thought or the way they have to prepare for the first inning. But that first inning, they have to take it as an urgency inning. And I believe that if the Mets do that, they're going to contend, and they might do what the Braves did to them last year.
You mentioned about Ronald Acuna being the leader in the clubhouse for National League MVP. Where does Pete Alonso stand on that list for you?
Oh, man, 19 home runs this season. This guy's just he's pummeling the baseball, and it's beautiful to see. It really is. You got such a great person. One more year of arbitration he has left after this year. A lot of people wondering, why aren't they signing this guy to a multi-year deal? He is the perfect guy for New York. But you know what? He's the perfect guy for any town. That's the thing. He's proven that he can play in the big city, and he's got the personality to do so. He embraces it. He embraces everything that baseball brings. He wants to be a part of the home run derby. He's said it in the past. Look, I feel that I am the best power hitter in the game. You know what? He's showing it. And one thing that he's doing this year is he's driving the ball consistently to the opposite side of the field. He looks like a line drive doubles hitter instead of just a home run hitter. And it's working for New York Mets and Pete Alonso.
Eduardo, before I let you go, I want to ask you, as someone who, is on the radio, but also someone who watches Sunday Night Baseball, it seems like every week you, Carl Ravage, David Cohn, you guys are having just a ton of fun. Like, you guys are making the game even more fun than it is. Tell me about what has been for you so fun working with those guys in the booth each week.
You know what? It really starts. It never stops. You know, we have our meetings on Thursdays and getting prepared for the Sunday game, and learned so much listening to David Cohn. I mean, the guy was awesome when he pitched, but he's even more brilliant speaking and talking the game of baseball. You can sense the passion there. He sees the game differently. Carl Ravitch has been around forever, over 30 years at ESPN, dealing with Baseball Tonight, dealing with calling games later on in his career. And we've had a relationship for a long time. Since 2007, when I came into ESPN, he was the one that took me under his wing. So I've learned a lot on this side of the business. But one thing that really helped me was going into the coaching for 2.5 years, and then coming back and appreciating this and appreciating the game. And that's one thing that us three, we understand, that we appreciate what baseball brings, not only to us, but to the fans. And we want to just move the game forward and be able to explain it to the veteran people that understand it, but also to the people that are new to the game. And without that veteran person that knows the game real well saying, "No kidding, Eduardo, of course we know that." Well, because I grew up watching Sunday Night Baseball, and now I'm a part of it, and I think it's the coolest gig that there is in baseball, being able to see the best teams at that time going at it head to head.
Well, you guys are doing a great job. Like I said, it's fun to listen to you guys talk about the game throughout the game, do the on-field interviews. And, of course, Sunday Night Baseball this Sunday, ESPN television, Phillies and Braves, Spencer Strider versus, TBD right now. Hopefully TBD's ERA is better than what Aaron Nola pitched last night. Eduardo, appreciate you jumping on today. Great insights.
All right. I appreciate you having me.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, Phillies back in action tonight. Taijuan Walker taking on the Braves. And then tomorrow afternoon, ESPN Radio will bring you Phillies and Braves. And, of course, ESPN Radio will bring you Phillies Braves on Sunday as well here on 97.3 ESPN. Still to come, Football at 4 with Adam Kaplan from the Inside the Birds podcast. We'll dig deeper with him on DeAndre Hopkins. That was the big news that came out earlier today. He is released from the Arizona Cardinals. Plus, we'll get into Adam about some of the players to keep an eye on as we get closer and closer to training camp. We're counting down. Eagles never goes away. We always talk football here on 97.3 ESPN every day on the Sports Bash. Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Bird podcast.
There's never an off season for the NFL. It's Football at 4, every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
One of the most influential names in comedy today, Andrew Schulz, will be live at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, Saturday, July 29. Known for his unapologetic and unsafe comedy, Andrew Schulz has become the most viewed comedian in the world. Don't miss Andrew Schulz live at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, Saturday, July 29. Tickets on sale now at theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Dell Technologies Summer Sale event is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest Intel Core processors like Thin and Light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. It's the perfect season to power your passions during Dell's Summer Sale event. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. Offered to U.S. residents by WebBank, who determines qualifications for and terms of credit.
What dealer has new Kias under $25,000 and only 2.9% financing?
Who is Matt Blatt Kia?
What dealer will pay off your trades, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth?
Who is Matt Blatt Kia?
Correct. Have a job clearing $350 per week? Matt Blatt Kia in Egg Harbor Township or Toms River wants to approve you. New 2023 Kia Forte or Soul, 0 down and just 2.9% financing for 48 months. Plus, we're overloaded with trades. Low mileage, one owner trades, many with remaining factory warranty, and they must go to make room for new Kias arriving daily. Just because you don't see your new Kia on the lot doesn't mean you can't be driving it home tomorrow with our exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
with approved credit. Not all will qualify. $27.78 per thousand financed. Go to mattblackkia.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 5/31/23. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ROCK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321321. That's ROCK to 321321.
Hey guys, it's Mike Gill reminding you to get ready for summer with my friends at Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals and their $59 air conditioning system tune-up for new customers. Regular maintenance helps avoid costly repairs, increases the life of your system, saves on energy costs, and keeps your family comfortable. They'll clean and adjust your system so it's safe and running at max efficiency, regardless of who originally installed it. And the first round of R22 refrigerant is included if needed. Ambient Comfort was just at my house. They arrived on time as scheduled, discovered an issue, replaced a part which they had right in the truck, no waiting, and now my air conditioner is ready to go. Glad I didn't wait until a 90-degree day to find out I had a problem. When comfort matters, choose Ambient Comfort and schedule your $59 AC tune-up now. Visit AmbientComfortNJ.com. That's AmbientComfortNJ.com or call 609-568-0955 and tell them Mike Gill sent you.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code TRUST at checkout. That's harrys.com, code TRUST. Enjoy.
The ATCO Thrill Show, Saturday, June 3rd at the ATCO Dragway on Jackson Road in ATCO. $25 for adults and just $1 for kids ages 5 through 10. Find more at ATCODragway.rocks.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill on a happy hour Friday, Memorial Day weekend. 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Thanks again to Eduardo Perez for joining the show. Also a cameo from his dog in the background. Back to the text board. Let us know what you're drinking, where you're going, what you're doing for Memorial Day weekend. Text board is open at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how a lot of vodka people today. I mean, I'm getting orange crushes. I'm getting Tito's and Red Bull, Tito's and tonic. Usually Mike Gill gets a ton of beer recommendations. I'm getting all kinds of vodka people. Are people just not drinking beer this weekend? You know, like I got Andy McNamara coming on to talk the NFL in the 5 o'clock hour, and Andy's a big whiskey guy. That's the only thing he touches. He does anything. He's very, very, very particular. I'll get to a message from Jeff at Summers Point in just a bit, 609-403-0973. But first and foremost, the Phillies lineup is out, and lineup is being brought to you today by Clark's Moving and Storage down there on Railroad Avenue in Rio Grande. For all your moving needs, just call Clark's Moving and Storage. Phillies lineup tonight versus the Braves. Scott leading off, followed by Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Castellanos in the 4-hole, Schwarber, followed by Romuto, Bohm, Marsh, and that Josh Harrison is back in the lineup. A couple of things I want to highlight here. Number one, it feels like the Phillies are kind of finding a little bit of a rhythm with this batting lineup. The lineup wasn't the problem yesterday. Like I said, they got me 5 runs. The problem was the pitching staff. It feels like that lineup is probably going to be your best bet for stability moving forward. The interesting thing is taking Edmundo Sosa out of the lineup and putting in Harrison. And here's what I want to highlight about this. Sosa, I think the problem with him in this lineup, and this is where the conversations about who should or shouldn't be playing first base really get amplified. You keep moving Bohm back and forth from first to third because there's no Reese Hoskins, as we've talked about. So what exactly are you doing with the other positions? And I think that the issue with a guy like Sosa and a guy like Harrison is that neither one of them are giving you tremendous offense. The problem with Sosa is that he hasn't been as consistent for you defensively as you would have hoped at third base. He's had some rough days. And even though he has 3 homers, 11 RBI in 38 games, his .268 batting average and his .291 on base percentage is underwhelming. On the flip side, Josh Harrison, he's worse than Sosa is as a hitter. And this is the guy, and Harrison is a former All-Star, for goodness sake. You thought when you brought Harrison in that you were getting a guy, he's a 2-time All-Star. He's got a little pop in his bat. He's giving you nothing. And I feel like the Phillies keep putting him out there to hope he catches fire or something. And this is why I get back to, I think the Phillies just need to commit to Cody Clemens at first. Because Clemens at least is giving you some offensive production. Clemens, he's got a better on-base percentage than both Sosa and Harrison. And he has more home runs combined than both guys. So, to me, I would give Clemens more run at first. But apparently for the Phillies, they're trying to avoid him going up against left-handed pitching. And we talked about with Bob Wankel yesterday about how the Phillies are basically one of the worst teams in baseball against left-handed pitching this year. And that in part is because they've had to lean on guys like Cody Clemens, Jake Cave to start the year, Derek Hall before he went down with the injury, along with Marsh and others so heavily because of their left-handed bats, Bryson Stott. So for the Phillies, it's a catch-22 right now. Because, Harrison and Sosa, they got to get some playing time because you got a face left-handed pitcher. You don't want to overextend the guys who are not as good, like the Clemens and the Caves and others out there. And with no Christian Pache right now, you're not asking Dalton Guthrie to get as many, but you're hoping that Harrison, because of his being a 2-time All-Star and his major league experience, is going to give you more than he's given you. And you're hoping Sosa's defense would make up for his lack of offense. And neither one of them is giving you what you need. So with this lineup, to me, that is where the hole in the lineup is. They got to figure out what they want to do with first base long term. Are they going to give Clemens more time at first against the right-handed hitters? Is there an option that they have to put at first base that's not Alec Bohm? Because right now, Harrison and Sosa, they're just not giving you much. They're both huge negatives for you in this lineup. Look, when you have an on-base percentage under 300, you're probably not having a good season. And right now, you go up and down the Phillies lineup, you realize there are Muto, Bohm, Stott, even Turner. They're giving you something. Like Turner's on base percentage is low, but he's got 5 home runs on the year. Sosa and Harrison have combined for 4 home runs. So their production is not worth it when their other numbers are so bad. And on a team where Bryce Harper, I mean, you heard Eduardo Perez talk about, he is pretty much getting into that groove of getting on a roll right now. I mean, since Harper came back, he's batting .347 with a .437 on base percentage. He's playing great. But he also has 3 home runs, 7 RBI in 20 games. You can't ask Harper to do everything, and this is where the conundrum is moving forward. I keep saying they need pitching. But Bob Wankel brought it up yesterday, and so did Steve Buchanan the day before here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig, filling for Mike Gill, 973 ESPN. They are really desperately missing a right-handed bat right now to offset some of these left-handed issues in this lineup. Coming up next, we will switch it back to the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins released by the Cardinals. Players to watch out for the Eagles heading into training camp. Football at 4. Adam Kaplan next on 973.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, we kickstart the Memorial Day weekend. Mike Carlin joins me in the studio. The Phillies are in Atlanta for a 4-game set, and the Sixers are searching for their next head coach. We'll cover it all. Hour 2, it's the Beach Patrol Report, brought to you by McCann Realtors of Sea Isle City and the Ocean City Lifeguard Alumni Association. The president of the Alumni Association, Jack Brooks, and I will talk with Chief of the Brigantine Beach Patrol, Kip Emmett. All that and more. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
We'll be spending a lot more time in the sun, and that means we need to protect ourselves from skin cancer, the most common type of cancer in the United States. In fact, about 1 in 5 of us will get it at some point in our lives. But here's the good news. Skin cancer is also one of the most preventable types of cancer. Here are some simple ways to reduce our risk of skin cancer and premature aging. Most importantly, wear sunscreen or a moisturizer with sunscreen every single day. It should have an SPF of at least 30. Remember, UV rays can penetrate glass, so our windshield is not a sunblock. Avoid the sun's rays between 10 and 2 when they're strongest. Wear a wide-brimmed hat, and don't forget your sunglasses. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Recycling is an easy and important activity you can do every day to help the environment. ACUA reminds you to recycle metal cans, glass jars, cardboard, paper, and accepted plastics. To learn more, visit acua.com or call 609-272-6950.
0 down, 0% financing, and $7,000 off MSRP on every clearly marked Matt Blatt Nissan in stock.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Stuck in a loan or lease? AJ the Trade Man can get you released, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, with 0 down and 0% financing on every Nissan Rogue for 36 months, even 0% for 60 months, plus $7,000 off MSRP on every Nissan Titan in stock. And don't forget, AJ the Trade Man will get you more for your trade, so you can drive a brand new Nissan. And of course, the Matt Blatt Nissan Peace of Mind 4-day love it or leave it return policy, only at MattBlattNissan.com. On approved Tier 1 credit through NEMAC. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle plus tax tag and $589 doc fee. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 6/3/2023. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Memorial Day sale, May 26th through June 5th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Carrie, is this schedule the most updated?
There's a wedding season rush at Dr. Iona's dental practice.
We're fully booked this week. We can try and squeeze you in next Tuesday.
She needs a dental hygienist to unveil fresh smiles.
How long has 3 been under the UV light?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to tonight's debate on the name of New Jersey's iconic breakfast meat.
Everyone knows it's pork roll.
Hey, calm down. The debate can finally be won, thanks to the New Jersey Lottery's meaty new scratch-offs, the Jersey Debate, with a top prize of $200,000.
Play the Jersey Debate. Name that meat scratch-offs with over $13 million in prizes. Anything can happen in Jersey.
Next topic. Is there a central Jersey?
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
With summer savings at the Home Depot, we have laundry appliances that just fit. Fit your space, fit your needs, and fit your budget. Like a new LG laundry set with 6 motion technology, using different wash motions to get clothes cleaner. And sensor dry to automatically adjust drying time, all making laundry quicker, cleaner, and easier on your clothes. Save up to 30% on select appliances, plus up to $100 off select laundry sets at the Home Depot. Pricing valid May 18th through June 7th, 2023. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
The 2024 X5 has arrived at BMW of Atlantic City. Take advantage of early bird pricing on one of the most highly anticipated vehicles of the year. Right now, lease a new 2024 BMW X5 xDrive 40i for $939 a month for 36 months. Looking to trade? We'll pay top dollar for your vehicle. Visit BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township and online at bmwatlanticcity.com. For more details, call us toll-free at 609-316-2393.
The voice of sports in South Jersey. The Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
I like the conversation. Every day it's something new.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A town square media station. Serving all of South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with Adam Kaplan.
I have real confidence that our football operations can once again create a dominant football team.
Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. It's Football at 4.
Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Adam Kaplan, Jeff Mosher, of course, all their work over at InsideTheBirds.com as well. Adam Kaplan is back joining me, Josh Hennig, Mike Gill, on a happy hour Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you traveling down to the shore, as we got some interesting NFL news that just popped off earlier in the day. Plus, we're going to focus on some of the players who are under the microscope as we are just weeks away from the start of training camp, and Adam Kaplan is back on a Friday edition of Football at 4. Adam, welcome in. How you doing today?
Josh, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, it is a great weekend, obviously, for most people who are able to have some time off. But yeah, it's funny. So with the DeAndre Hopkins news, we discussed it. Jeff and I were talking about it, but for just potentially discussing it, but earlier this week, but we're like, look, he's not being traded, so it's a moot point, and there was no real thought that he was going to be released, because the general manager, Monty Ossenfort, was pretty definitive when he was asked at the end of the draft, because he was unable to trade him. They were trying to. The real story, Josh, is they were trying to move him for a while, and during and before the draft, they just couldn't work it out, so they resigned to the fact he'd be on the football team. But though I'm not sure exactly why they did it now. We did that interview on the I Am Athlete podcast.
Right.
And he talked about very openly about who he'd like to play for if he gets moved or released or whatever. That I just know the way front offices are. That's not when you're trying to rebuild the football team and rebuild the face of the franchise. And the Cardinals have had a very bad offseason for many reasons, and they need to get some positivity going. And when your star receiver is talking about playing for other teams, I don't know if that's going to go over well with Monty Ossenfort, their general manager, who just took over a tough situation. But the bottom line is now he is now free at 4 p.m. Eastern, which it is. He's now free. And you just have to look at the Eagles situation. And I put this on our agenda today. I want to talk about this because I know people talk about, well, why would the Eagles win and they have Brown and Smith and Goddard? I get that, but here's the reason why. If Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, and I know how these things work. Typically, when a star receiver or star player gets released, you look at your situation and you discuss it internally, whether it's a good thing or not a good thing to even go further and call the agent or not. You have to look at it. Would he make your football team better? The answer is yes. Why? Because he's better than Olamide Zaccheaus, who's going to be their third receiver by the end of training camp. If they don't sign Hopkins or anyone else, he's heavily favored to be their third receiver. So you'd be better there. And then having Zaccheaus move down to be your fourth receiver, that's how your football team is much better. You're just better with Hopkins. And now, what are the challenges if you did make this move? You would have to be super 11, heavy 11 personnel. You would have to be, which means 3 receivers and 1 tight end. The Eagles were like this with Doug Peterson the first 2 years before Goddard was drafted. And now with this current situation, you would have to do that. Now, what are the negatives? Hopkins, Josh, would have to accept the fact that he's not going to be the guy here. In fact, you can make the case he'd be their third or fourth option. Some weeks their fourth option. Is he willing to accept that? You can't pay him a lot because you can't justify a major contract for a backup player. So those are some of the challenges with Hopkins.
How much do you think also is in consideration? Because you mentioned the I Am Athlete podcast, and he was very specific that Jalen Hurts was one of the guys that he would love to have the ball thrown to. I mean, Adam, you know how these guys are. Not every athlete is as open as Hopkins was on that podcast.
Yeah, and that's good. No, that's look. You know he'd want to play here. That you've got that solved. You don't need to ask his agent. You know, it's weird. You know, he did his own deal with a little help. He didn't have an agent when he did the Cardinals deal, but he had said in an interview over the last couple of months, I can't remember which one interview that was. He said he did add an agent lately. He used to have Todd France, but the fact of the matter is, if you talk to Hopkins, you have to want to know if he wants to play here. Well, we know he would want to, amongst other teams that he did mention. We should mention on that I Am Athlete podcast. The Bills, obviously Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, obviously with the Chiefs, and it's not that the Chiefs need a receiver right now. They don't have a lot of experience. They have 5 or 6 guys who'll compete, but Hopkins is better than most of the receivers on that football team. And then with Buffalo, they clearly need help. I mean, they don't have very good depth, and he would help. Look, Stephon Diggs is their unquestioned number 1 pass target, but they could use someone else to help out Gabe Davis. But here, it's is it a need? No, but he's better than Zaccheaus, and that's why you would do it, and he would help you win a Super Bowl. When you have Super Bowl aspirations, when a guy of this ilk is out there, you have to have the discussion. That's your job. If you're Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni, you got to have this discussion.
Yeah, I made the comment earlier in the show, Adam. You know, Hopkins is not a guy you would never say no to adding a guy like him. Yeah. It's interesting the timing of it because, as you said, you know, where we are right now on the off-season schedule, you know, this is Memorial Day weekend is not a time where you expect guys to suddenly become available.
Yeah. Oh gosh. When McNabb got traded to Washington, was it Easter?
It was Easter Sunday? Yeah.
Yeah. You made me think when you brought that up because I was actually, and I'm someone who I don't really take real vacations. I take working vacations, and Comcast Sportsnet had called me and said, "Hey, would you be willing to come in to talk about the trade?" And I was down the shore, and I was like, "Man, I really don't want to do this because it's one of the few times I love going to the shore." And I was like, "All right, I'll do it." You know, it's a big trade. I needed to come in, but I begrudgingly because I was with family. I'm like, "All right, I'll do it because I can't say no to this. It's a good opportunity." And I just remember as you talked about the timing of it, it's just really weird. I haven't not seen if anyone's got the scoop on this one about why. Because remember, no one ever reported it. Just got it. Big stories like this, it's very rare that they're not reported by somebody. The fact that it didn't get out and they just announced it is shocking to me, to be honest. Because I'm on the Cardinals Twitter and I go, wait a minute, they just announced this. No one reported it. What's going on here?
Right.
So yeah, it caught a lot of us by surprise. To be honest with that, you're absolutely right. Good point with the timing. It's really strange.
Adam Kaplan here, Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. I'm sure Adam and Jeff will have more on this on the next edition of the pod. Adam, let's look at some of the players under the microscope this offseason. Some interesting guys. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. Talk to us about Tyler Steen. This was the draft pick. A lot of people are suggesting he could be kicked inside to play guard. I know that Jason Kelsey was on Chris Long's podcast joking that, Tyler Steen's mannerisms reminds him of Brandon Brooks.
Wow, I did not know that. I did not hear that. But yeah, so Josh, let's take a look. So on our show that dropped earlier this week, actually on Thursday, a big focus of that show was players and coaches under the microscope. I added the coaches part of it, and I put Steen under the microscope because he's being asked to play a position guard he's never played before. And look, this is good. This is a major storyline. Can he not win the job, which he's a favorite to win, but can he actually be effective? It's one thing to ask a guy to win it in training camp, and that's great, and do well in the preseason. But this is a team that feels like it could go back to the Super Bowl, Josh. This is a big challenge for this kid. So the microscope is clearly on him. He is, if we had to rank them, he's in my top 3 of biggest training camp questions with Tyler Steen.
When you look at the team overall, we know that earlier in the week they worked out DJ Fluker. We know that, Cam Jurgens is the guy they're talking about for the right guard.
Yeah.
Where do you think Steen falls into the hierarchy right now for this offensive line in terms of the guard competition?
Well, it's a 3-man race with Jurgens, so I can't see him winning it. He's really a center. Remember, he's new to the offensive line. He only played offensive line 2 years. He was a tight end before that at Nebraska. So it's a major challenge for him. And then you've got Jack Driscoll. It's a good backup. You don't do these things for a guy to play 3 to 5 games. You're doing this for 17 regular season games and hopefully the Super Bowl. So to have 3 or 4 more games. So you're talking 20, 21 games. It's a big ask for any of these 3. But they believe Steen has the body. He's stronger than you think. He doesn't have the arm length to play left tackle. He's less than 33-inch arm length. Is really not, for a guy who's 6'6", is really small. It's really short, and they think he's got the toughness to play inside. Again, you say the hierarchy. It would be not a major surprise. It'd be a minor surprise if he doesn't win that job.
Another guy on offense that's interesting to keep an eye on is Grant Calcaterra. This is a guy who had some injury issues in college, and he had some productive moments, I should call it, not even games, moments last year for the Eagles. Speaking of tight end, we know Dallas Goedert, he is the top of the heap. He is the man, but how does Calcaterra fit in with the rest of the guys?
So I put him on watch here because they brought in Dan Arnold. Dan Arnold is a really good athlete for the tight end position, not much of a blocker. He's been in a lot of teams, the Saints, the Cardinals, the Jaguars, the Panthers, and now the Eagles. He's a former college receiver. So he's not, you're not signing him to block, you're signing him to catch the football. Well, Calcaterra is a similar player. He's an athlete, not much of a blocker. So to me, Calcaterra is going to have the microscope on him because Arnold's there. And Arnold's going to compete against him for that number 3 job.
What do you think is going to be the deciding factor between those guys? Because Arnold is a guy who has experience around this league where Calcaterra has experience in this offense.
That's a good point, Josh. To me, it's let the best man win. And don't forget about Tyree Jackson as well. The Eagles it's not easy to keep 4 tight ends. I wouldn't rule it out. So when you really look at this situation, it's a 3-man race for that number 3 job. Then it becomes down to, do they want to keep 4? But to me, if you're just looking at the athletes, it's Calcaterra versus Arnold for that number 3 tight end job.
Adam Kaplan joined us for Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Flipping it over to the defense under the microscope. I mean, for some people, it might be a Captain Obvious, but I think it's an important conversation to have. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, the 2 Georgia guys, they play together at Georgia. Now they're back together in Philadelphia.
Yep. In fact, if we had to rank who's under the biggest microscope, Jalen Carter's number 1. Tyler Steen is number 2 because he's being asked to play a position he's not played before, and Jordan Davis number 3. Jalen Carter, to me, because of his off the field concerns, which are significant, can he not only stay on the straight and narrow, stay in good physical shape, and handle himself as a professional at this level. That to me, because look, the Eagles took a big risk here. As we said on our show when it happened, for a team like the Seahawks to pass Allman and 5, who've taken risks on players for years, and by the way, the number one need for the Seahawks, and it wasn't even close coming to the draft, was defensive tackle, and they passed on him. So the Eagles are taking a risk here. So I'd put Carter 1, Steen 2, and Jordan Davis. It's simple. We'd said on our show for the last 2 months that we've heard that he showed up in really good shape, much better shape, but that doesn't guarantee you anything, Jordan Davis. How's his conditioning? It's one thing to lose weight, but how's your conditioning? How's your endurance? We're not going to know that until at least a week into training camp. Everything we've heard is good, but look, the bullseye's on him. He's got to be better than he was. He was not very good before he had the high ankle sprain. Every once in a while he'd flash, but we had noted on our tape study shows that too often he got stood up, and that can't happen. So that to me, again, he certainly is under the microscope.
We know at Georgia they had a lot of rotations with those guys. None of the guys, Carter, Davis, any of them, played heavy snaps. So what is a realistic expectation for these guys now with the Eagles, who also like to rotate?
Now, I would say, Josh, I know the Eagles will have some depth, but they don't really have many guys who could play nose, depending on how they want to shade them. But the bottom line is this. The Eagles gave up significant compensation. Let's not forget to draft him last year to trade up. If he doesn't play at least 40% of snaps if he's healthy, that to me is severely disappointing. So to me, he's got to be a factor. Yeah, you're right. They're going to have a rotation between Cox, Carter, Davis, Milton Williams are your top 4, Katavius Street, and Ojomo. They'll keep 5. The question is, will they keep 6? In our show we did a week ago, where we did our 53, our defensive 53, I've got Ojomo on the roster for now. Obviously, things could change, but Jordan Davis has got to be a factor. Trading up for guys they did, Josh, for him not to be a factor, that would be painful. That would be a major disappointment. But from what I've heard, the kid really, we talked about this on our show on Thursday, he's really taking the responsibility of being a factor this season seriously. But again, until we get into late July and early August, we're not going to quite know where he's at.
Another position group under the microscope is safety. You lost both of your starters from last year. Epps went to the Raiders. CJ Gardner-Johnson went to Lions. Now you got Terrell Edmonds, who used to play for the Steelers, and rookie Sidney Brown, who was an interesting player at Illinois. They're both coming in to the safety situation with a new D coordinator.
Right, and both are projected to start. That's why I've got on my list of players under microscope, because Edmonds has never been a very good coverage safety. He's very average. He could cover tight ends, but he's average at it, I'm told. And then you got Sidney Brown, who did cover tight end because he played in the box, and if the tight end was there, he covered him. But they didn't ask him to play downfield at all. He was played very close to the line of scrimmage. Very physical, smart, tough player. He's athletic. It's just he's going to be asked to do some things he's not done before, Josh. So he's going to be under the microscope. The Eagles are going to have to be patient with him. They don't really have anyone else. Reed Blankenship's good back, but he's not a starter. And Justin Evans, he missed the better part of 3 seasons where he was with teams, but he didn't play because of injury. So you can't count on him. And look, they're reshaping these safety positions. Let's call it like it is. They don't quite know what they have yet. They really like Sidney Brown. They're expecting a lot out of him, but it's kind of a wait and see situation.
I know Sean Desai is also under the microscope, so if I can merge these two together, Adam, talk to the audience about what you know about Desai and his defense and what that means for these safeties.
Yeah, so I've got Brian Johnson and particularly Sean Desai even more under the microscope, because Desai is going to run the Fangio scheme. That's staying the same as we understand it. He'll run his version of it, as we were told last year, as I mentioned this on our show, that no Fangio disciple runs exactly what Vic does. They run their version of it, but it's close. Look, they're going to run that system. It's just their way of doing it, which is going to be different. So the question is, what is Desai going to do differently than Jonathan Gannon, his predecessor? Gannon, despite the hate that some fans have for him, did a pretty good job. Not great, but very good. He was very solid. There's no question about it. Yeah, the one issue that is, I think, legitimate when people criticize him, because the tape shows it, in the Fangio system, you pick and choose when you blitz. You don't blitz a lot. That's the secret sauce of the Fangio system. You do it with 4-man pressure generally. So when he blitzes, does he understand when to do it? It's play calling is an art, Josh. It's not something that like you could be taught it. You could try to learn, but when you're on your own, you got to do it. And I talked to John DeFilippo, the former Eagles quarterbacks coach who worked with Desai 1 year in Chicago. He said he's pretty impressed. He didn't know him, but when John was the quarterbacks coach and he had decided on the other side, he said, look, the guy's a pretty sound coach. He said, did a good job. So running the Fangio system, by the way. But again, he's different talent here, and quite frankly, they're more talented up front than they were with Chicago when he was there. So we'll have to see what happens, but no question Desai more than Johnson. And Johnson, look, first time, Josh, he's calling plays at this level. He called it the University of Florida, but that's then. This is now. This is going to be a bigger challenge for him. But as we noted on our show this week, he's going to have a lot of help. He's going to have two guys this year primarily. It's going to be Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo, as one source called him, the secret sauce of the game planning during the week. And it's going to be interesting to see because, again, you got two new coordinators.
Before I let you go, Adam, you mentioned about Johnson, but how important is it that now this is going to be multiple years for Hurts, even though it's not the same person calling the plays in Steichen, it's still the same system for Hurts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In fact, he talked about that, Josh. Hurts has talked about it, about going back to high school, he's not playing the same system twice, and now he gets to do it. Really, for 3 straight seasons, he's going to be able to be in that system. And in his second, remember now, this is his third full year as a starter, and he gets to play in the same system. So this is a good thing. Now, and remember, Brian Johnson and Hurts go way back to his high school days. He's known the family and Jalen since then. So it's good. Look, and one thing, as we've mentioned on Inside the Birds, the Panthers were very interested in Brian Johnson as a potential offensive coordinator, but they were told he was not going to be available. They were told that very early on, and so they just didn't. They never put the slip in. And there was another team we were told that it's an AFC team that was looking at him, but they were also told he wouldn't be available. So the Eagles obviously feel very good about him, but we'll have to see how he does at this level.
For more on the players and coaches under the microscope, check out the Inside the Birds podcast. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, give it the 5-star review. Follow Adam on Twitter at KaplanNFL, and he will be back next week with us for Football at 4 here on the Sports Bash. Adam, great stuff today.
All right, good. Josh, thank you.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We'll get back to your text on our side. So I got to read. It's Jeff in Summers Point. We got Tom from Margate. We also got Dan in Violin. It's Happy Hour Friday. Tell me what you're consuming. Tell me where you're going this weekend. Join the conversation. Eagles offseason, DeAndre Hopkins, Phillies lose game 1 to the Braves. All that and more today on a Happy Hour Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you. And don't forget, later in the show, I will tell you my favorite places at the Jersey Shore for you to check out this summer. All that and more still to come. Josh Hennig, filling for Mike Gill. This is 97.3 ESPN.
When you hear this,
They've got him again!
And this,
He scored!
And this,
oh boy, what a move by Embiid!
You think of us. We are sports. 97.3 ESPN.
0 down, 0% financing, and $7,000 off MSRP on every clearly marked Matt Blatt Nissan in stock.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Stuck in a loan or lease? AJ the Trade Man can get you released, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, with 0 down and 0% financing on every Nissan Rogue for 36 months, even 0% for 60 months, plus $7,000 off MSRP on every Nissan Titan in stock. And don't forget, AJ the Trade Man will get you more for your trade, so you can drive a brand new Nissan. And of course, the Matt Blatt Nissan Peace of Mind 4-day love it or leave it return policy, only at MattBlattNissan.com. On approved Tier 1 credit through NEMAC. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle plus tax tag and $589 doc fee. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 6/3/2023. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials Light Trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials Light Trap. Insecticide-free protection.
Ever since we got Xfinity Mobile, the whole family now has the fastest mobile service. My little brother has no idea how lucky he is. Back in my day, we didn't have it nearly as good.
Oh yeah? Back in my day, you couldn't even stream outside the house.
Please, back in my day, we had phones with cords, and they were mounted to a wall.
Forget phones. Back in my day, we wrote letters. Remember, Herman?
Your grandmother would write me pages.
Vintage texting. Cool.
Visit your local Xfinity store today and switch to Xfinity Mobile, the fastest mobile service with 5G and millions of Wi-Fi hotspots. Plus, while you're there, see how you can save up to $700 on an eligible device with qualifying trade-in and device payment plan. Visit XfinityStores.com to find a store near you. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity Internet and new Xfinity Mobile line activation. Offer ends 6/5 while supplies last. Comcast analysis of mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data from Ookla Speed Test Intelligence in Q1 2023.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you're 19 or older with certain underlying medical conditions such as asthma or diabetes, you can get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're 65 or older, it is also recommended you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. No matter the season, talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protect yourself. A message from the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
Furnished by the American Lung Association.
Powered by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Welcome to Memorial Day weekend. I'm Josh Hennig with your South Jersey Sports Center. The Phillies lost Game 1 of their 4-game series with the Braves on Thursday night, thanks in part to Aaron Nola allowing 5 earned runs in the 8-5 defeat in Atlanta. The Phillies are back in action tonight with Taijuan Walker scheduled to start first pitch at 7:20 p.m. This weekend, the Sports Bash is giving you a chance to see rapper, actor, filmmaker Ice Cube inside Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino on Friday, July 7th. If you want to win an overnight stay July 7th at the magnificent Ocean Casino Resort, plus 2 premium tickets to the show and an amazing $250 dining credit, all you need to do is go to 973ESPN.com now to enter for your chance to win. Get more Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, and Flyers on our app. Your forecast is next.
Sail into summer in New Jersey, where sea breezes drift along iconic sunny shores. Stroll boardwalks or soar high on the rides. Take time out to breathe in the great outdoors. Treat yourself, shop, dine, dive into history, the arts and culture, from dazzling winning cities to charming towns in the countryside. Find it all at visitnj.org.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chris Coleman. As spring unofficially turns into summer this weekend, the weather looks to be pretty good. Clear tonight, still a bit chilly. Bring a sweatshirt to the boardwalk with a low of 48. Tomorrow, picture perfect, sunny and 70. Sunday and Memorial Day Monday, partly sunny both days, just a tiny chance of a shower with highs on either side of 70. Ocean water temperature at the Steel Pier is 61. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free app today. The ADCO Thrill Show, Saturday, June 3rd at the ADCO Dragway on Jackson Road in ADCO. Tickets are $25 for adults and just $1 for kids ages 5 through 10. Find more at ADCODragway.rocks.
Yeah. Josh Hennig, Philly from Mike Gill to Happy Hour Friday, 97.3 ESPN. Go for the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. As promised, I'm going to get some of your texts and DMs throughout the show. And we're combining multiple worlds today. It's Happy Hour Friday, So you can tell me what you're consuming, what you're drinking, what you're doing this weekend. And it's Memorial Day weekend. We had Matt and Kate May earlier. So he's already out and about in Wildwood. He's already doing his thing down there. He's out in there. You know, he's he's hanging out. He's having Orange Crush. He's having a good time. Jeff in Ocean City said that he's already doing the Red Bull and the vodka, which is not for me, but not the vodka part, but the Red Bull. I don't do Red Bull. I am for someone who drinks as much coffee and tea as I do and drinks pre-workouts and BCAAs for my workouts, I don't drink energy drinks. I am not an energy drink guy, so I will leave that to people like Jeff in Ocean City. The Red Bulls and the Monsters, I am out on all that. But Jeff says he's out and about. So, like I said, I'm going to give you my full list. Each year, Mike Gill usually gives a shout out to a bunch of businesses that you can check out the Jersey Shore. Well, I'm going to give you my edition coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Shout out to a lot of people, a lot of businesses out there for you guys to check out this summer at the Jersey Shore. I'll give you my idea is I'm going to go, Ventnor South, Ventnor, Margate. Then I'll go to Ocean City, Sea Isle. Obviously, Strathmere is part of Sea Isle with Townsend's Inlet. We'll incorporate all of them. Go to Avalon, Stern Harbor, the Wildwoods, and then Cape May. Kind of give you a rundown of places that I like, that I think you guys should check out, not just for Memorial Day weekend, but for the entire summer. There's a lot of great places here at the Jersey Shore. You don't have to go to the same places all the time. That's a great, beautiful thing about South Jersey. You can find great new places that can become part of your itinerary moving forward. So I'll be in the next hour. But right now, text board is open, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Jeff at Summers Point, not Jeff in I should, by the way, note, Jeff in Summers Point is a Jeff. Jeff in Ocean City is a Geoff. So different spellings, easy for me to keep track of because I can see their names, but I'm sure all of you listening on the radio on 97.3 ESPN or on the app are kind of like, Jeff, all these people named Jeff. Well, one is Jeff at Summers Point. Ocean City is Geoff. So there is a little differentiation. But Jeff at Summers Point says, Josh, I'm keeping it simple to the point. I got my Fireballs on ice. I got my Coors Light in the bottles. And I got my girl a bottle of Prosecco. Happy Memorial Day weekend, Jeff in Summers Point. So a couple things there for Jeff. Number one, I respect your commitment to the Fireball. I respect that you are going Coors Light. I don't do Coors Light. It's not for me. If I was going to go Fireball, I would probably combine that with like a Slack-Tide Angry Osprey or maybe like a Ludlam Island lawn chairs. That's kind of what direction I would go in if I was to pair the Fireballs and go maybe more the local breweries. But that's just me. I also respect you getting your lady to Prosecco, give her something that she wants. So I respect it, Jeff. I respect the commitment to the Fireball, and I respect the commitment to your lady. Dan in Violin chimes in at 609-403-0973, says, no drinking till after work for me. I'm telling you that. A shot of Jaeger after the shift at the Princeton in Avalon. Dan in Violin checking in. Well, Dan, if you're working down there at the Princeton Avalon, I'm assuming that's a direct invitation for me to come out and say hello. I figure that's the only reason why you're telling me that. I'm just kidding. I know Jaeger shots are like a real popular thing for groups of people. I have to be honest, I haven't done a Jaeger shot in probably a decade at this point. I remember there was a period of my life from like, I want to say like 2009 to maybe 2011, 2012, where I used to hang out with a lot of people down in Cape May, and the Jaeger shot was the thing that everybody did. It was the go-to move back then. for me, I've never sought that out. In part because I'm not really a shots guy. I'm more of a person who likes to, enjoy whatever I'm consuming. Like I said earlier on the Sports Bash, I'm more of a mixologist than Mike Gill is. Mike Gill is very specific kinds of IPAs, and he's very, he has his coffee, right? He's got his coffee, he's got his IPAs. I'm all over the place. I drink a ton of water. I got my coffee first thing in the morning. I got my tea. I drink 2 different teas, different points of the day. I'll drink my black and green tea in the middle of the day. I'll drink my ginger and peppermint late at night. Right. So for me, when it comes to the alcohol, I got my beers, typically go with the craft beer. I like to support the local guys in the community who do a great job of making the brews. And then when it comes to the other substances, I appreciate the whiskeys. I appreciate some wine. I appreciate the vodka. So I'm a little all over the place. So for me, when I look at, Jaeger is just not my thing. And when it comes to, like I said, having a drink, I don't drink to, quote unquote, live it up party. Like, my birthday was just recently. And, when I go out, I'm not trying to go out to, and maybe it's because I'm getting older. Maybe it's because I'm no longer in my 20s anymore. So I don't look at going out. Even then, I didn't look at going out as an opportunity to, party up or anything like that. I'm the kind of person who likes to drink what I like to drink. So Dan and Violin, if you like the Jaeger after your shift, more power to you, right? If you like when you're done on your work shift, go have a Jaeger, more power to you. It's not my go-to. Tom in Margate chimes in at 609-403-0976. Hey, Josh, I love a pint of Smithwick for the Phillies. When I'm checking them out, I'm going to have a Scotch whiskey. And if I was having vodka, it'd be a dirty martini with Tito's. Happy Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend from Tom in Margate. Tom in Margate has got the right idea for me. He's all over the place. He says, if I'm drinking this, I go with this. If I like, now the dirty vodka martini, Tom and Margate, you got to get back to me. Is that shaken or stirred? All right. There's a difference. Some people are very particular. Do they want it shaken or stirred for your dirty martini with the vodka? Let me know. Scotch whiskey. I'm more of a bourbon whiskey guy personally than Scotch, but hey, I respect the commitment. I respect the specificity, how specific you were about what you like, Tom and Margate. Good job by you checking in. Happy Hour Friday. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on 97.3 ESPN, filling in for Mike Gill. Phil chiming in on the text board says, Josh, I just drove from Brigantine to Philly. Eastbound traffic packed from all the bridges all the way to the Parkway. Let the listeners know to avoid. So there you go. Phil giving us the traffic update. Eastbound traffic jammed on the expressway from the bridges all the way to the Parkway. So if you're trying to get anywhere anytime soon, you're not. There you go. Phil goes on to say, I know the Eagles could use a playmaker at the slot, and realizing that Hopkins is primarily outside receiver, would he be effective in the slot? Also, would he be receptive to playing here? Imagine that offense with Hopkins. Oh my. Thanks from Phil. Well, Phil, a couple things there. Number one, DeAndre Hopkins, we talked about this the last couple of days, said on the I Am Athlete podcast, he said Jalen Hurts is one of the 5 quarterbacks he wants to play with. He said it was Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert are to him the top 5 QBs in the league. So Hopkins is definitely open to playing with Hurts. Now, the problem is, you're right, he is not a slot receiver. My assumption would be that if you were to sign a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, you would kick Devonta Smith into the slot. Remember, Smith played in the slot and the outside at Alabama. And you got to remember, Smith was not always the number 1 receiver down there at Bama, okay? You look at Smith's career at Alabama, he was aside from his Heisman year, he was not the primary guy at receiver. Remember, he was playing in an offense where he was the third or fourth guy. It was Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle, and then Devonta Smith out there. So Smith has serious experience playing in the slot. He has not always been the number one or number two receiver. He has spent a lot of his career playing as the 2 or the 3 before he became the number 1 and won the Heisman, because he had Jerry Jeudy. He had another first-round pick, Henry Ruggs, another first-round pick, Jalen Waddle out there. So I think Smith is the guy who moves into the slot, Phil. I think that is where Hopkins would fit in the offense. It would be Hopkins and Brown on the outside, Devonta in the slot, and then Dallas Goedert is your tight end. So that would be probably the base formation for the Eagles if you were to sign a guy like Hopkins. Mike in Upper Township says, Josh, I got the Tito's and the club soda with a splash of mango. Scratches the itch without getting too full from the IPAs. That's from Mike in Upper Township. Mike, I understand what you're saying about the being full from the IPAs. That is the one downside of if you're somebody who likes to go out and consume. And that's why I'm a big guy who believes in the flights to try things out. I like to try different brews before I consume, so that way you're not loading up too much on any drink in particular. Obviously the Tito's and the club soda, that is a go-to for a lot of people. The splash of mango is interesting. Mike in Upper Township, you can follow up and tell me. So are you a person who likes the fruit mango, or are you somebody who just likes the mango in the drink? Just curious, because I know that when they were talking about last week, or was it Monday? It was early this week, Monday or Tuesday, when we were talking about the people's, favorite fruits, right? The conversation was about, mango. And I'm personally not a mango person. If I'm going with a splash of something in a drink like that, I mean, I wouldn't mind some grapefruit juice, some cranberry juice, something like that. I'm a big grapefruit guy. I'm a big cranberry juice guy. So that's probably the direction I would go with that. But good job by you, Mike in Upper Township. Let's squeeze one more message in before we hit the break. Sam in Avalon chimes in on the text board at 609-403-0973. He says, I got a Michelob Ultra and some other stuff waiting for me after work. Go Birds, don't drink the Bud Light. That's from Sam in Avalon. Well, a couple things, Sam. Number one, that's why Jeff in Summers Point drinks the Coors, because he used to be a Fireball and Bud Light guy. And now he says, I don't do the Bud Light anymore. So he went to the Coors Light. So and that's why I was saying I don't do any of those light beers. So for me, I don't have to worry about whether I'm going to drink or not drink a Bud Light. It's already off of the menu for me, at least. Sam in Avalon, Michelob Ultra, not a bad choice, not a go-to for me, but if someone hands it to me, I'm not going to say no at like a barbecue or a party. So good call by you. You got the whole lineup, looks like, set up for you, waiting for you after work. And yes, go Birds, Sam in Avalon. All right, more of your messages. Happy Hour Friday. What are you drinking? Where are you going? What are you doing? 609-403-0973. You can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Get to more of your messages coming up. I see James chiming in, asking a question about the Eagles. We'll get to you as well. Hanging out with you. Happy Hour Friday. Still to come. We'll talk more NFL and the fantasy impact of DeAndre Hopkins leaving the Cardinals with Andy McNamara coming up in about 40 minutes from now here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Be safe out there. The crowds are already getting wild with the traffic. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated with the water. 97.3 ESPN, 97.3 ESPN. Mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle.
We have the perfect remedy for sitting in traffic. The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
We are here with Dr. Scott Hernberg, Medical Director and founder of Tomorrow's Wellness Center in Northfield, one of our 97.3 ESPN industry aces. Dr. Hernberg, tell us about Tomorrow's Wellness Center.
We offer the most advanced technology and evidence-based practices in a holistic and integrative manner to provide optimal health and wellness. We strive passionately to make folks look and feel their best.
You treat ED. How common is ED?
Erectile dysfunction is a very common disorder, particularly as men begin to age. Typically, about 40% of men experience some form of erectile dysfunction.
What does Tomorrow's Wellness Center do for ED?
We use a protocol called the Gainswave therapy. What this therapy involves is low-intensity shock waves that are essentially sound waves. It's natural, essentially painless procedure used to improve the blood flow as well as to improve the sensitivity.
Dr. Scott Hernberg from Tomorrow's Wellness Center in Northfield. You can find out more at tomorrowswellnesscenter.com.
The season for doing is here with summer savings at the Home Depot. Find everything to bring out the best of your home with all the colors of summer. Whether seeding your yard or planting a garden, the Home Depot's got what you need. Visit our garden center and shop special buys now, like the 1-quart Rio for water-efficient nonstop blooms that soak up the sun all season long, now just 2 for $10. Make your summer with savings from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
At Ocean First Bank, our first thought is you. We put you first in all we do. Community banking for a century. We treat you like your family. Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Yes, 5.05% APY for a limited time. When you open a 13-month CD with at least $10,000 of new money to Ocean First, you can earn this great return. Don't delay. Visit oceanfirst.com for complete details and to open online.
Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Certain rules and restrictions apply. Member FDIC.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist-prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
When you want experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence.
Hey, South Jersey contractors, is your current supplier failing on your railing? Dennisville Fence can supply or install whatever type of railing you need. With the largest selection in South Jersey, we are your go-to source for cable rail, glass rail, aluminum, and composite. Plus, we have a mile of white vinyl T-railing in stock to help you stay on time and on budget. Have trouble getting up the steps? Our instant rail and ADA handrail will have you covered. Don't leave your customer in the dark. Our full line of low-voltage lighting will knock your job out of the park. With materials delivered right to your home or job site, we make it easy to get you the products you need when you need them. So start planning your project today. Visit DennisvilleFence.com or our newest location at 229 Shore Road in Summers Point. Again, that's 229 Shore Road in Summers Point.
Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence. 1-800-499-FENCE.
Visit DennisvilleFence.com.
You like the movie?
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
It's almost summer. The beach, baseball games, theme parks, and rising prices and interest rates. Wait, that's not part of this ad. Interest rates are still rising. Most auto prices are over MSRP, and large trucks and SUV trade values are rapidly declining. You've probably missed out on record trade allowances, but not at Matt Blatt Mitsubishi. We want your trade, no matter the make, condition, or what you owe. Then drive home in your brand new 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or Outlander SUV with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty with 2.9% financing and 0 down payment. Plus, Matt Blatt Mitsubishi's 4-day love it or leave it return policy. You simply can't make a mistake or take $9,000 off MSRP with a PHEV lease on every unit in stock. Simply Matt Blatt Mitsubishi. Offers approved with Tier 1 credit through Ally Financial. Go to mattblattmitsubishi.com for complete details. Plus tax, license, registration fees. MSRP $47,400 less $1,500 rebate to $6,800 tax credit. Dealer discount of $1,273. Offers can't be combined. Expires 6/5/22. So come in today and get your deal your way. Located right in the heart of Glassboro for over 30 years.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 Jersey Sports Leader.
Happy Hour Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Keep sending me what you're having, what you're doing this weekend. We got more of your messages to get to, plus your thoughts on the Eagles and Phillies. 609-403-0973 and your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. A lot of messages coming in throughout the show. Robin Millville says a nice Jim Beam black on the rocks is good for me. Sounds like Robin Millville and Andy McNamara would be having some drinks together. Andy McNamara doing the show coming up in about 30 minutes from now. Talk football in the NFL. And he's a big whiskey guy. Jim Beam Black. Now, I've only had Jim Beam Black once. But that was Jim Beam Black and ginger ale. I've never actually had it straight. So it sounds like, Rob, you are someone who really does enjoy the finer aspects of a Jim Beam than maybe someone like me would. But I do respect it. Tom from Margate followed up and said, the vodka martini must be shaken. Have a great weekend. I asked him, look, shaken or you never walk into anywhere and say dirty vodka martini. You never know what you're getting. You got to be specific. You want shaken or stirred? Tom from Margate says must be shaken. Over on the DMs on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, James chimes in and says, now with DeAndre Hopkins being released by the Cardinals, what are your thoughts on Buda Baker? Baker is interesting because it really does feel like, and Adam Kaplan kind of hinted at this, I said it more explicitly earlier in the show, James, that you got to think that Hopkins had that interview on the I Am Athlete podcast just a couple days ago. All of a sudden, he's released. I don't think it's a coincidence. So it seems like that for whatever reason, the Cardinals were willing to eat that contract just because he went on a podcast. Like, it's just a strange situation. So my thoughts on Buda Baker is, if I'm an NFL team, the Cardinals literally just de-incentivized themselves. Because the Cardinals basically just came out and said, we don't care. We have to cut a guy and take on dead money. You are literally eating. I mean, if I'm reading overthecap.com's analytics correctly, that's a $21 million dead cap hit that the Cardinals are taking on for releasing Hopkins. My thoughts on Buda Baker are Cardinals basically just shot themselves in the foot. If they were hoping to get something of value in return for Buda Baker, you know what an NFL team is saying right now? I'm giving you nothing for Buda Baker. Just cut him. I'll get him in free agency. This is a horrible miscalculation by the Cardinals. It's a great job by Hopkins to find a way to get himself out of town. But it's a horrible job for the Cardinals because now, if you're the Eagles, let's say the Eagles wanted to call about Budda Baker. Hey, we need a safety. Budda Baker says he wants to play for the Eagles. He says he likes Nick Sirianni. Let's get him in here. Cardinals pick up the phone. What are you offering me? If I'm Howie Roseman, the Eagles, I'm offering you a late round draft pick. Budda Baker's one of the best safeties in the NFL, but you've given the rest of the league no incentive to give you a good offer because you released DeAndre Hopkins outright. You told the entire NFL, we're willing to eat $21 million of dead cap money because we didn't like what this guy said. Think about how insane that is. Think about how ridiculous. So if you're an NFL team, you have no incentive to give the Cardinals anything for Budda Baker. And as a result, I'm not trading anything of value for him. I'm not trading a first round pick, a second round. And I don't admit, I don't know what the Cardinals were offered because I haven't seen any detailed reporting about what was offered, not offered at the draft for Baker and Hopkins. But you got to imagine if they were so willing to cut him and absorb the dead cap money, what they're basically is throwing their hands up in the air and saying, we don't care. Crazy. You're literally eating $21 million of dead money because you don't like what a guy said on a podcast. If you literally would have waited until after June 1st and designated it for after June 1st, you would have saved money. So my thought, James, thank you for the DM on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. My thought on Budda Baker, James, is wait the Cardinals out. The Cardinals are desperate enough to get rid of him. Get him on the cheap or let them cut him. Because they just cut DeAndre Hopkins for no good reason. More Happy Hour Friday, more football talk coming up next. Josh Hennig, Phillies for Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN.
This weekend on ESPN Radio, it's a showdown in the National League East.
Kyle Schwarber, and this place is going bananas.
Kyle Schwarber and the Philadelphia Phillies begin a 10-game road trip in Atlanta when they go head-to-head against the NL East leading Braves. The Philadelphia Phillies at the Atlanta Braves. Coverage begins tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern and Sunday at 6 Eastern.
Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN.
What dealer has new Kias under 25 grand and only 2.9% financing?
Who is Matt Blatt Kia?
What dealer will pay off your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth?
Who is Matt Blatt Kia?
Correct. Have a job clearing $350 per week? Matt Blatt Kia in Egg Harbor Township or Toms River wants to approve you. New 2023 Kia Forte or Soul, 0 down and just 2.9% financing for 48 months. Plus, we're overloaded with trades, low mileage, one owner trades, many with warranty, and they must go. Room for new Kia to Kelly. Just because you don't see your new Kia on the lot doesn't mean you can't be driving it home tomorrow with our exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. 2778. Go to MattBlattKia.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for restriction and taxes. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Nothing is every day.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
These are emails filling your employees' inboxes.
downloads beaming from device to device. And any one of them could be a cyber attack. Is it possible to keep your small business safe? It is with Comcast Business Security Edge. It helps keep your connected devices protected, and you can monitor threat activity in real time. So this security threat is the last thing you need to worry about. With Comcast Business, advanced security isn't just possible, it's happening.
Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for $39 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying bundle. Call or go online today to learn more. Offer ends 6/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments. New 50 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Award-winning musician, actor, director, and producer Ice Cube is coming to Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort Friday, July 7th. Former NWA member Ice Cube, best known for Straight Outta Compton, will be bringing the energy and his iconic voice and powerful lyrics. Don't miss Ice Cube, Friday, July 7th, Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at theoceanac.com. That's theoceanac.com to get tickets to see Ice Cube Friday, July 7th at Ocean Casino Resort.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Memorial Day sale, May 26th through June 5th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
The 2024 X5 has arrived at BMW of Atlantic City. Take advantage of early bird pricing on one of the most highly anticipated vehicles of the year. Right now, lease a new 2024 BMW X5 xDrive 40i for $939 a month for 36 months. Looking to trade? We'll pay top dollar for your vehicle. Visit BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township and online at bmwatlanticcity.com. For more details, call us toll-free at 609-316-2393.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. Here's Mike Gill.
5 o'clock hour. Happy hour Friday on 97.3 ESPN Memorial Day weekend. We got the traffic report earlier from Phil on the text board telling us that it is jammed eastbound on the expressway from the bridges to the parkway. If you're trying to get anywhere fast, you're not. It's very, very simple equation. So to come this hour, take more of your texts and thoughts on the text board. You begin your thoughts throughout the day. It's a merger of two worlds. What are you drinking this weekend? What are you drinking today? What are you doing? Where are you going? A plethora of recommendations, and usually on this time every year, Memorial Day weekend, Mike Gill will jump on the Sports Bash to give you his place to check out. Well, I'm going to give you my list. We're going to go island by island, community by community, Ventnor all the way down to Cape May. I'll give you my list of places coming up a little bit later this hour here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Also still to come, Andy McNamara will give us the NFL analysis and the fantasy football impact of DeAndre Hopkins leaving in the 5 teams he wants to play for. One of them is the Eagles. It means he's going to be the Eagle. We'll get into that as well throughout the show here on 97.3 ESPN. Plus, don't forget, you heard the Ice Cube music there. Just a little reminder that right now the contest began today. It's open right now at 973ESPN.com and the 973 ESPN mobile app. If you want to go see Ice Cube July 7th at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, he's performing at Ovation Hall. You have a chance to not just win premium seating tickets for the concert, but we're giving you an opportunity to win an overnight stay at Ocean Casino Resort and the premium tickets to the concert and a dining gift certificate up to $250. This might be one of the coolest prizes we've ever given away. That's not sports related, and we're giving it to you thanks to our friends at Ocean Casino Resort and 97.3 ESPN. Just go to 973ESPN.com or the 973 ESPN mobile app. Sign up for the contest, and you have a chance to win. And I'm jealous of you guys. You guys get to win this contest. I don't get a chance at this. These are one of those contests where it's like, if I could jump in and get involved, I would. But, I work here, so I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to be involved in the contest. I'm not allowed to win. So somebody out there, I hope you win it. Listen to me right now. I hope you have a great time. Just go to 973ESPN.com, 973 ESPN mobile app, fill out the form, and you have a chance to win an overnight stay July 7th, premium tickets to the concert, Ice Cube at Ovation Hall, and a dining card, $250 worth, all because you signed up at 609-403-0973. That is the text board. Sorry, you got to go to the website, 973ESPN.com and 973 ESPN mobile app. See, I'm here by myself. I'm mixing and matching things in my head. I'm doing my best to keep up, guys. I was bound to make a mistake at some point. Matt from Delaware will get to your messages in just a minute at 609-403-0973. Just to fully reset the rest of the news. If you missed anything before the 5 o'clock hour, here you go. So first of all, DeAndre Hopkins released by the Cardinals. 2 significant points to check out with that. Number one, DeAndre Hopkins said that there are 5 quarterbacks he wants to play with, his top 5 QBs in the NFL today. No particular order, by the way. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Those are the quarterbacks he would want to play with. Those are his top 5. A couple days later, after saying that, he is released by the Cardinals. And depending on, which calculator you run off of, the Cardinals are taking a $20 to $22 million cap hit to just be rid of him. If they just would have waited until after June 1st, they would have saved a lot of money. They would have cut that dead cap hit basically almost in half. Because he had 2 more years left on that contract. And of the money he's signed up for, you're looking at a guy who you could have at least saved a little money on the dead cap hit because you had 2 years left on the contract. So it's interesting to see what happens to Hopkins next. People have been asking, what does it mean for the Eagles? Well, if the Eagles sign him, he's not a slot receiver. You would build the offense of Hopkins and Brown on the outside, Devonta Smith on the inside, because Smith played in the slot at Alabama when it was that loaded wide receiver group of Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs and Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith. He has a ton of experience playing in the slot. So that's what you would do with the receiver core if you bring him in. And now, I told you guys earlier in the show, my only concern with Hopkins is health. He has not played more than 10 games in any of the last 2 years. So that in and of itself tells you that you can't depend on him for a full slate of games. I'm not saying I would be against signing Hopkins. To me, look, if you can sign a guy like Hopkins, do it. That's what I say. A guy like Hopkins is somebody who, if he says he wants to play for you and he's willing to, come in and be part of the team, you do it. I'm not going to sit here and judge for it. Look, I've told you guys before, I'm the guy I'm with the Flyer fan who blames the Flyers for Johnny Gaudreau not being here. Gaudreau wanted to be a Flyer. He wanted to come back to the area. He's from South Jersey, and the Flyers said thanks, but no thanks. And that's part of the reason why the Flyers had a horrible year this past year, why Chuck Fletcher was fired, and why they had to change the whole apparatus. Because a hometown guy wanting to come on home, it'd be like the Cavs told LeBron thanks, but no thanks. That's what we're talking about here. And I know that Gaudreau is not LeBron, okay? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that Johnny wanted to be here. And anytime an athlete wants to come to your team, to your city, to your organization, you always should say yes if they're of a certain caliber. And I think Hopkins is of that caliber. So even if he only plays 10 of 17 games next year, he's probably still giving you 4 to 6 touchdowns in those 10 games. He's still probably giving you a bunch of first down conversions. And as long as he's not injured going into the postseason, he'd come back for the playoffs if he's injured in midseason and have a big impact. Hopkins is a player that you always say yes to. As I told you guys earlier in the show, there's no guarantee he is here. Because, like I said, the Bills and the Chiefs both offer something to him that might be interesting, which is a bigger role in the offense. It's absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild that you have a situation where Hopkins is a free agent right now. I mean, this has got to be the biggest free agent that's been available this time of year in the NFL offseason in a long time. But like I said, he had 5 quarterbacks he wants to play with. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are 2 of them. If he's looking for money, which he doesn't necessarily have to, he's got money coming to him after being cut by the Cardinals, but guaranteed money coming to him. I mean, you look at a team like Buffalo, it makes a lot of sense because they desperately need a guy across from Stephon Diggs, take pressure off of Davis, spread out the offensive focus out there. Kansas City, I mean, Andy Reid's an offensive genius. He would know what to do with Hopkins better than almost anyone. The Lamar Jackson situation in Baltimore is interesting because they already have Odell Beckham Jr. If Odell Beckham and Hopkins are on a team together, Raymond's got to be a top 10 offense. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And then the other guy is Justin Herbert. I think that's the least likely of all the teams that he mentioned. If you were to ask me the least, it's not the Eagles, it's the Chargers. Because the Chargers already got a lot of guys who are similar in what Hopkins does. So I don't know how he would exactly fit with the Chargers. We know that he doesn't want to play with Dak Prescott. He dismissed that outright in the podcast. And the other guy he mentioned, though, and this is the dark horse in all this, he said he likes CJ Stroud, who just got drafted by Houston. Would he consider going back to Houston? Because part of the reason why he say he likes Jalen Hurts is because he said Hurts is the Houston guy. He grew up, he watched him grow up and become the quarterback that he is, and that he knows him. So the Hopkins situation is interesting to keep track of. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. The other bit of news we talked about earlier in the show is with the Phillies. They lost last night. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Aaron Nola gives up 5 runs. The offense gives you run support, and you can't hold them down. Absolutely ridiculous. The Phillies did make a minor move today. The Phillies have claimed outfielder Cal Stevenson off of waivers from the Giants and optioned the AAA to make room for Stevenson on the 50-man roster. Noah Song was transferred to the 60-day injured list. Now, 2 points there. First, about the Noah Song thing. Song is a guy who they're trying to stash right now. He's not significantly injured, but he's a guy who they picked up in the Rule 5 draft. And the rule is that you have to have a guy on the 40-man roster for an entire year, or he gets reverted back to his original team or becomes available for any team to pick up. And Song was a huge prospect coming out. He had to go serve his military service. And once he was allowed to come back and play baseball, the Phillies were really hoping that he could maybe be part of this team. Well, he had a minor injury. It's not the end of the world, but they're trying to shuffle the roster because they really want to see what this guy's capable of. They really want to see what he can do. So what they're doing is they're shuffling him around. So Noah Song is a guy to keep in mind about a couple different things. Stevenson, not a lot of major league experience. All right. He's only played in 29 major league games. What's interesting about him, though, is that he's a left-handed bat. And you would have thought the Phillies would be avoiding any more lefties. But apparently, they feel like he's too good of a prospect to let pass them by. Minor leagues, he's a career 289 hitter in the minors. Average, not great power. Solid hitter, not great hitter. Feels like a depth move for the Phillies. The other news of the day, the Phillies lineup brought to you by Clark's Moving and Storage over on Railroad Avenue in Rio Grande. For your next move, call Clark's Moving and Storage. Lineup tonight, Bryson Stott, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, JT Realmuto, Alec Boehm, Brad Marsh, and Josh Harrison is playing third. Boehm is at first. And I was talking about this earlier in the show. There is a huge issue with the Phillies in terms of their lineup because Harrison and Sosa combined are not giving you good offensive production. And a guy like Sosa is supposed to be a sound and really good defensive player. He is somebody who has had issues at third base. So now you're trying to do this shuffling game because you have no Realmuto, you have no Derek Hall at first base. No Hoskins at first base, no Derek Hall. Realmuto could play first base, but for whatever reason, they are not interested in putting him out there at first. It's been Boehm a lot. And the issue for the Phillies is they have two competing problems moving forward. One is the problem that I keep ranting and raving about. That's the starting staff. You have a starting pitching rotation with Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler and Taijuan Walker all underachieving, underperforming based on their capabilities. Your best pitcher this year has been Matt Strahm. That's a huge problem. And to me, the Phillies have to take this seriously in the way that they did last year. Remember last year, Dave Dombrowski said, we're not worried about our defense because our offense can out-hit our defense. Well, that ended up not being true. They fired the manager. They had to go get Brandon Marsh at the deadline. They got Edmund Sosa. They upgraded the defense on the bench and in the field. This year, they said, our hitting, because we added Trey Turner, our lineup is so good, we didn't need to invest a ton of money into the pitching staff. They weren't going to get into a bidding war for any of the free agent pitchers like Justin Verlander. Now they're in a predicament where the two guys they let walk, Zach Eflin because of his injury history, and Kyle Gibson because of his age, are both pitching very well this year. Gibson in Baltimore, Eflin in Tampa. They replaced him with Taijuan Walker, And Walker has been Jekyll and Hyde. So on one hand, you have an issue with the Phillies where I say you have to get better pitching. You have to address the pitching before it's too late. The issue with that, as I was talking about yesterday, and shout out to Joey D and Bentner for texting in the show at 609-403-0973 about this, about the Phillies and, who could they get? The problem is whoever you're going to get, you have to consider trading someone of the caliber of an Andrew Painter. Are you willing to give up one of your top prospects for a guy like Shane Bieber from Cleveland? That's the one hand of the conundrum. You have a pitching issue, but how are you going to address it? On the flip side of the coin, you have a right-handed hitting issue. Sosa and Harrison are both playing poorly. Sosa is not giving the defense you hope for. Harrison, a two-time All-Star, is not hitting well at the plate. So how do you address it? CJ Cron's having a great year. He's been rumored to play first base. Is there another hitter we're not thinking of out there? There's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of things for the Phillies to be worried about. By the way, before we hit the break, Phil chimes in, Josh, you have to pick one, only one. Sign Hopkins or trade a third or fourth round pick for Buda Baker. I'm ready to have a Manhattan. Phillies are driving us all the drink. That's from Phil on the text board. Manhattan, classy choice. I like your vibe there, Phil. Good job by you. I would trade for Buda Baker. Nothing against Hopkins. I just think between the injury history and we already have some good receivers, I think Buda Baker is a day one starter at safety. But here's the thing. I don't think you need to give up a third round pick for Buda Baker. I think the Cardinals have already shown you that they are flippant enough to cut a guy and absorb $20 to $22 million to get rid of a guy instead of trade him for something. Keep in mind with Buda Baker, the Cardinals have done a disadvantage themselves in terms of value. We'll talk more NFL coming up next. Andy McNamara joins me for some Football Friday talk on a happy hour Friday here on the Sports Bash Memorial Day weekend. Josh Hennig filling from Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN.
There's only one place for live sports and sports talk in South Jersey. Oh, yeah! Your sports station is 97.3 ESPN.
Don't miss Andrew Schultz live at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, Saturday, July 29th. Tickets on sale now at theoceanac.com.
With GMF financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette.
At Bennett Chevrolet, we're selling new Chevys at real GM supplier employee prices and not 1 cent more. And you keep all the rebates. Not some. I said you keep all the rebates. Up to $8,000 right now during our Memorial Day super sale. Some dealers think they can imitate Bennett by giving you a discount, but they keep part or all the rebates. Bennett Chevy gives you both the real deal GM supplier employee price plus all the rebates. Up to $8,000 during our Memorial Day super sale. And there's available 1.9% financing. Looking for used? Bennett will pay you a minimum $10,000 for any clunker, junker, or whatever you can drag to our lot towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least $10,000. We pay a lot more for good trades. And unlike other dealers, our sales team is non-commissioned. They're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. You've got to come experience the difference. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Memorial Day sale, May 26th through June 5th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
At Ocean First Bank, our first thought is you. We put you first in all we do. Community banking for a century. We treat you like your family. Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Yes, 5.05% APY. For a limited time, when you open a 13-month CD with at least $10,000 of new money to Ocean First, you can earn this great return. Don't delay. Visit oceanfirst.com for complete details and to open online.
Whatever you need, whatever you dream, let's make it a reality. Ocean First Bank, putting you first.
Certain rules and restrictions apply. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow, and all summer long, I'll be taking you on a tour of exciting destinations across the Great Garden State, sponsored by the New Jersey Division of Travel and Tourism. Every corner of New Jersey has amazing day trips and staycations for the entire family. From the cities to the shore, mountains to museums, theme parks, ballparks, and amazing downtowns, each week I'll travel to a New Jersey hotspot and talk about the best places to play, eat, shop, and explore. Find your perfect New Jersey getaway with ideas and a free travel guide at visitnj.org.
Powered by the all-new BetParks New Jersey Casino and Sportsbook app. BetParks.com. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Welcome to Memorial Day weekend. I'm Josh Hennig with your South Jersey Sports Center. The Phillies lost Game 1 of their 4-game series with the Braves on Thursday night, thanks in part to Aaron Nola allowing 5 earned runs in the 8-5 defeat in Atlanta. The Phillies are back in action tonight with Taijuan Walker scheduled to start first pitch at 7:20 p.m. This weekend, the Sports Bash is giving you a chance to see rapper, actor, filmmaker Ice Cube inside Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino on Friday, July 7th. If you want to win an overnight stay July 7th at the magnificent Ocean Casino Resort, plus 2 premium tickets to the show and an amazing $250 dining credit, all you need to do is go to 973ESPN.com now to enter for your chance to win. Get more Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, and Flyers on our app. Your forecast is next.
An online housing resource is now available for NJ residents to assist in eviction. Go to Housing Help 91302 to be connected to a certified housing counselor for free housing counseling services and information.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chris Coleman. As spring unofficially turns into summer this weekend, the weather looks to be pretty good. Clear tonight, still a bit chilly. Bring a sweatshirt to the boardwalk with a low of 48. Tomorrow, picture perfect, sunny and 70. Sunday and Memorial Day Monday, partly sunny both days, just a tiny chance of a shower, with highs on either side of 70. Ocean water temperature at the Steel Pier is 61. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free app today.
Hello, I'm Chief Joe Fussner of the Ventnor City Police Department. Did you know that the period between Memorial Day and Labor Day is considered the busiest and most dangerous travel time of the year? In New Jersey, fatal crashes, alcohol-related crashes, and young driver crashes all occur at higher rates during the summer season. Protect yourself and your passengers by wearing seatbelts every trip, both day and night. Your seatbelt is the single most effective way to reduce serious injuries, and it increases your chances of surviving a motor vehicle crash by as much as 45%. Law enforcement agencies across Atlantic County will be providing increased safety enforcement by joining the statewide Click It or Ticket campaign. Wearing your seatbelt is the law. If you're not wearing your seatbelt, you will get a ticket. Please do your part to keep our roadways safe by obeying traffic safety laws and practicing safe driving habits. The most important partner in our effort to prevent crashes and save lives is you. This message is brought to you by the Atlantic County Office of Highway Traffic Safety and the Ventnor City Police Department.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
5:27 on Happy Hour Friday, simultaneously Happy Memorial Day weekend. Conveniently, Andy McNamara and I agreed to have him on today before DeAndre Hopkins was released by the Cardinals. So, of course, Arizona did us a favor and had one of the biggest news items happen of the day, on the day and the time that Andy McNamara joins us. He joins us all Football Friday during the NFL season on game night, and he joins me today for a Happy Hour Friday. Josh Hennig playing for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, congratulations. DeAndre Hopkins is a free agent. How you feeling about that?
I'm feeling pretty good. Can we start Happy Hour now, or do I have to wait till after the show?
Listen, you're allowed to start whenever you want. So I'm the one who refrains. I mean,
that's true.
I was telling everybody that you're a big bourbon whiskey guy.
Like in a composed way, like not like a problem way. Yes.
Right. Well, I was saying, it's funny because I was saying earlier that like I'm the kind of person where like, Mike Gill is a very much he loves his IPAs. He's very specific, with that. Yeah, I'm more of a what you would call a mixologist.
Okay.
I drink a couple cups of coffee a day. I drink 2 different types of tea every day. I'll consume some beer, craft beer usually. I'll consume some wine, some vodka, some whiskey. So I'm a little bit all over the place.
Okay. I take it to the next level though. If you're watching on the stream, I'm my certified bourbon steward pin from the Stave and Thief Society in Kentucky. And I got for my birthday official Tennessee Squire deed from Jack Daniels. How about that? Right there. So I can go to Kentucky. I can go to Tennessee. I'm in.
Somebody said earlier they were drinking a Jim Beam Black on the rocks.
That's not bad. Normal Jim Beam white label. I call that the Dusty Rhodes bourbon. That's the common man. That's the common man bourbon. Okay. I want something a little spicier than that. The double black, the Jim Beam Black isn't too bad.
Let's get to Hopkins here. So first of all, let's start with what we know. How surprised are you that the Cardinals were willing to eat about $20 million of dead cap space to get rid of a guy all because he went on a podcast this week?
The Cardinals and dysfunction, those two words just go hand in hand right now, don't they? They're just all over the place. And they have been for years, really, right? Going back to was it Josh Rosen? Then you go Kyler Murray, and then the video game club. It's a mess there. So, right. And now they're in flux with the Murray injury. So now, Hopkins goes, lists 5 guys he wants to throw him the football, none of which is his current quarterbacks. I wasn't expecting Colt McCoy, but maybe Kyler. And now they let him go, which again is just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to do. He's under contract. You could have said, well, too bad. This dude's throwing you the football. They chose not to. That's fine. That makes things interesting on a variety of levels. Real world wise, boy, man, we're talking Chiefs. How would that look? Buffalo Bills. How about the Chargers? I don't think enough people are talking about he mentioned Justin Herbert in that podcast. That would be very interesting. And fantasy-wise, now this is what's important. I want, from a selfish fantasy football perspective, with DeAndre Hopkins, to me, I call it entering his Julio Jones phase, Josh, okay? Because every week, now the last 2 years, we've seen beside his name a Q, a D, questionable, doubtful. Injuries are starting to mount up. So he's not the same guy. Hasn't hit 1,000 yards since 2020. And last year played 9 games, year before 10 games. So if he goes to a place where he doesn't have to be the man and can be somewhere as a number 2, that could be very interesting. And Hopkins could be refreshed coming out of Arizona.
All right. So a couple things there. Let's hit on the 5. We've talked about this on the Sports Bash this week. I've been filling in for Mike Gill the last couple of days. The 5 quarterbacks he wants to play with, right? His top 5, because he dismissed Dak Prescott out of hand. He didn't even make, those who didn't see the interview, the lady on the podcast, I don't remember her name. I'm sorry. But she kept asking him, what about Dak Prescott? What about Dak Prescott? Because he's wearing the Cowboys hat,
right?
And he was like, oh, I'm just wearing a hat because I like it. He's one of those guys. So, but he's like, nah, I don't want Dak. So let's start with Herbert. He actually never said Herbert's name. He said that guy who plays for the Chargers. It's the way.
Not a great start.
So I'm not feeling great about the Chargers as a destination. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. If you can't remember the franchise quarterback's name, not a great start. Still puts him above Kyler Murray, apparently, though.
Right. Exactly.
That guy. And the Chargers are notoriously cheap, too. So I wouldn't expect them to go there anyway. That's
so the other 4 he named explicitly.
Okay.
So let's go one by one here. Josh Allen, he called the new Andrew Luck. Now, the interesting part is, what did Andrew Luck do? He took on too many hits because he tried to run guys over and it ended his career. So, I mean, does that mean that he thinks Josh Allen is a 5-year window guy and then he's out of the league? I mean, what do we do with that description?
Well, yeah, and it'd be interesting to dive deeper into what he meant by that. Is it because of the full skill set? Now, Josh Allen's certainly more mobile than Andrew Luck, but Andrew Luck could move a bit, bigger guy and can throw. I think the Bills would be a great spot for the reasons I mentioned, because it's not a cluttered wide receiver room, but you have a clear number one in Stephon Diggs. You could easily move Gabe Davis to a number 3 with the possibility to jump back up to a 2 if Hopkins got injured. The tight ends, Buck Kincaid, nice ad, but we know first-year tight ends typically don't do much, and a running game that still is meh. So that'd be a nice spot to pop Hopkins in on a team that's ready to win right now. You put Hopkins in there, and the team still wouldn't suffer that much if, let's say, he did get injured and go down. So it'd be a really nice upgrade, but not the pressure situation. So I think that'd be a really good fit for Hopkins.
He said Patrick Mahomes for obvious reasons. So
yeah.
What are those obvious reasons? Because obviously Patrick Mahomes just proved last year he don't need a number 1 receiver. As long as he's got Kelsey and Isaiah Pacheco, he's good.
And that's exactly it. That's what was so impressive, right? We went to last year and he just had guys, right? And to be fair, great quarterbacks make guys either great or find a way to win around it. So let's look right now at the Chiefs' current wide receiver room. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, meh. Kadarius Toney, basket case, gadget guy, a lot of fun, but who knows? You can't rely on him. Sky Moore, come on. That guy, that's your WR. That's your third starter. That guy's run straight fast, and you catch 1 ball every 3 games for 80 yards. That's all Sky Moore is. And then you got Travis Kelce, like you said. So if you mix that in with that, boy, fantasy-wise, man, that running back room remains just a disaster. I hate it, but real life-wise, it works. You put Hopkins in there. Like, would you not want Hopkins over Sky Moore? And you can still sprinkle in Sky Moore. Like I said, the one pass he's going to get. Like, I think that would make sense. The problem, of course, becomes, okay, DeAndre Hopkins just got a lot of money, likes money, of course, like we all do. Where is he at? Because the Chiefs are paying Patrick Mahomes a lot of money. They're paying Travis Kelce a lot of cash. So where does he go? Is he in a situation where he's like, look, I want to go to the best team that I think I can win a Super Bowl with this year? If that's the case, and he can take a, quote, discount of some sort on a short-term deal, then I think his options are wide open. If he's going for a cash payout, then his options get limited when it comes to true contenders.
Now, he mentioned Lamar. He said he likes Lamar Jackson. Okay. Now, that was an interesting situation. I guess I'm saving the Eagles for last for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But the Lamar Jackson thing is interesting because he already has the best receiver he's ever had on the roster right now, because an 80% Odell Beckham from his peak is still better than everyone Lamar has had down in Baltimore. So now you're talking about putting Hopkins and Odell on a team with Lamar. I mean, Lamar said he wants to throw for 6,000 passing yards. I mean, maybe then he actually can.
Right. Here's the thing. Here's the real talk. Odell Beckham Jr. is the diva of divas. We know this. Hopkins and all wide receivers, if you're at that elite level, quietly or outwardly, are divas. You got egos, rightfully so. You're playmakers. How is there enough ball going to be going around to keep Odell happy? Because we know his dad's ready with the video editing to get ready to pop that out on YouTube. And Hopkins. Oh, you just drafted Zay Flowers. You got Bateman sitting there too. Oh yeah, and there's a guy, Mark Andrews, that Lamar loves throwing to 12 times a game. Where's the ball? And in an offense, I know they're going to try to change it, but has always been run first because Lamar just isn't that good of a thrower of the football. He isn't. You can look at the stats all you want. In real life situations, he isn't. So I think personally out of that list, Hopkins would be worse off going to the Ravens than anywhere else. I think it would be I think eventually it would implode on itself with that many personalities on it. So I think Baltimore is actually the worst spot for him.
All right, let's get to the Eagles. Now, his explanation for Jalen Hurts was because Hurts is a Houston guy. He's known him since he was younger. He's impressed with his development and his growth into what he is today. Now, the interesting thing with Hopkins is Hopkins and A.J. Brown are very similar players.
Mm-hmm.
They're both 6'1", and they both are guys who play at the high peak. The difference is that A.J. Brown is about 6 years younger and about 15 to 20 pounds heavier and just stacked muscle. Hopkins has been injured the last couple of years. Are you willing to take on a guy at Hopkins knowing he might only play 11, 12 games next year and then kick Devonta Smith into the slot?
If I'm the Eagles, and look, I'll trust pretty much whatever Howie Roseman says after that draft. Like I'm still amazed by what he was able to do there. So if Roseman goes and gets Hopkins, I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I might not agree with it, but I'll trust it because that guy absolutely knows what he's doing. I wouldn't do it. Josh, as crazy as it sounds, the Eagles don't need Hopkins. They don't need him. Like you said, similar play with A.J. Brown, who's younger, who's happy. He wasn't happy in Tennessee. You want A.J. Brown happy. If you bring DeAndre Hopkins and he is healthy, you're going to have to give him the ball more, which will make A.J. Brown not so happy. We don't want that. Brown, Smith, Watkins is the extra, whatever. That's fine. You have DeAndre Swift now. You have Rashad Penny. You have Gainwell. You have Scott. You have that overflow of committee running backs with Jalen Hurts, who can move as well, of course. And we have Dallas Goedert. I just don't think you need DeAndre Hopkins. I think it's just trying to fit one extra piece in to try to get an extra star that you don't need. Like, Eagles are fine. I think the Eagles can start today. They're good. I wouldn't touch it.
It is interesting, though, because Smith did play at Alabama with Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs and Jalen Waddle, and he was the primary slot receiver. So we know he can do that. Sure. It's just the question of, I'm going to steal your point about Lamar and the Ravens to the Eagles. Now, obviously, there's no diva on the Eagles like Odell, but A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, you already got 3 guys. And by the way, you forgot to mention Zacchaeus, who they just signed.
Yes, Zacchaeus. Yeah, nice extra.
I mean, he's a guy who might steal a bunch of snaps from Quez Watkins if Watkins' head doesn't stay on straight again and he keeps dropping balls.
Yep.
So
Tyree Cleveland too. He's popping in there.
Right. So there's a situation where now you got too many guys. Whereas if Hopkins goes to a team like Baltimore or Buffalo, you're not worried about him getting his touches, right? Yep. He comes to a team like Philadelphia or even Kansas City to an extent. Now you're worrying about how many touches are you getting from the quarterback.
And you know what? I don't think the money's going to line up in Kansas City unless, like I said, he takes a discount. I think Kansas City could work because really it is Kelsey and then just a blob of everything else. So I think it could work in Kansas City. The interesting part, if he does remember the quarterback's name, is the Chargers because, right? Because look, here's the other problem. We talk about similarities with A.J. Brown and Watkins style-wise. Well, you have similarities in a breaking down-ish Keenan Allen,
right,
and Hopkins, but you have Mike Williams. He can't stay healthy. Quentin Johnston's a guy, right? Josh Palmer I like, but he's been a little inconsistent. Gerald Everett doesn't wow you at tight end. So you'd be adding a piece that could very well also get hurt, but on a team that, man, if he can get right, that's a really nice piece from a stud quarterback who's still on the rise in Justin Herbert as well. So the Chargers could make sense again, but it comes down to the financials and what does Hopkins want? You know, like you can make anything fit. If he takes a veteran minimum, then that's what it takes to go to Kansas City and wants to win a Super Bowl that bad. Boy, that would be a fun message to send.
Now, the final thing I want to ask you about before I let you go, because the premise of our conversation before Hopkins got released was Hopkins wasn't just saying these are the quarterbacks I want. These are his 5 quarterbacks in the league. Burrow, not on the list. Deshaun Watson, who he played with, not on the list. So, how do you feel about a list like, by the way, no Aaron Rodgers on his list either. Although I think it's funny the Jets are the 3rd best betting odds for him to go to a team, yet he didn't list Aaron Rodgers on that list. So how do you feel about a top 5 list that he has of Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Lamar, Herbert?
I would take, and I guess it depends on, I guess the list is based on like who you think can lead you to a Super Bowl, right? That's kind of what my mind is.
No, that's his point. That's what you and I would say. Right. You and I would say, who's the best quarterback in the league? In the back of our mind as fans, we say, who do we want to start for our team so we actually win a championship? He's saying these are the best quarterbacks based on who I want to play with.
I gotcha. Well, yeah, then it takes in a whole bunch of stuff. Is it style? Is it personality? Is it swag? I don't know how you don't pick Joe Burrow. Kills me to say it. That guy's cool. Like Joe Burrow's just a cool dude.
He's really good too.
He's really good. We've seen how he's able to distribute the football amongst a lot of mouths in Cincinnati. He's amazing. I am surprised with Deshaun Watson because they did have a good rapport by all counts. So that is surprising. And then, would you not want to play with the future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers? Boy, he funneled the ball to Devontae Adams pretty much, right? Made him look pretty good. So that's interesting. I guess it depends. Maybe, is it part location? Like, is it part, I don't know. It really depends kind of what he's looking for. But that is, a few of those names are surprising, especially Burrow and Watson there.
So if we put Burrow in that top 5, who are you taking out?
Lamar Jackson, out.
Okay.
Out. Listen, he's got to prove to me he can throw the damn football when it counts and not just, little fluff stuff. Josh, how many times I've said on this show, and I've been proven right the last 2 years with him getting injured more and more. Not necessarily, I know, Andy, he hasn't got injured running around. Okay, he still has, okay? Defense's strategy is to get Lamar Jackson to throw the football. Fact, okay? When that changes, then you can sprinkle in all these fun wide receivers because, hey, guess what? Hollywood Brown, who complained and got out of Baltimore because Lamar Jackson wasn't getting him the football, looked pretty damn good in Arizona to me. By the way, kids, fantasy football-wise, load yourself up on some Hollywood Brown. Thank you very much. That's going to be great for him. So it all depends this year. There's no more excuses for Lamar. You got your little Odell Beckham Jr. before his other ACL. If there's a third ACL, he'd tear that. You got Bateman. You got your little toys, okay? Let's see what you do now with a new offensive coordinator. And people complaining in Baltimore, too. Oh, they made it about the run. They made it about the run because they had to, because that's all he could do. Come on, man.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Well,
I'll disagree with you on that. It's not the only thing he can do. The problem was, and I think this is why Roman was let go. I think that the offense never evolved beyond a certain point. And
is that his fault or is that Lamar's limitations that he saw being there every day? I don't know.
Well, listen, Lamar was a better passer in college with Bobby Petrino, of all people, than at times in Baltimore with Greg Roman, who, by the way, was the offensive coordinator for a team that was in 5 yards of winning the Super Bowl.
Yes. It's true. But in any case,
how does Bobby Petrino get a better efficiency when Lamar Jackson is throwing to you and me at Louisville than Greg Roman does in Baltimore?
The mysteries of the world. If only we had the millions of dollars to ponder about that, Josh. But I would take Lamar. I'd put Joe Burrow in. I think that's a no-brainer.
Right, that's fine.
I think that's a no-brainer. I'd put Aaron Rodgers in there too.
Aaron Rodgers is not in my top 5.
No, in the whole league, no. I think though, just a side note, that is going to either go really good or really bad, and either way, it's going to be awesome to watch.
I'm just saying it's a shame they're not on Hard Knocks. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh man, do you think he's going to come in with like the greasy, like the slick back hair, the Bret the Hitman Hart, or the Sons of Anarchy hair, in the white muscle shirt? What a mess!
I hope so.
And again, that's a spot where you got everything you want laid out for you. How is it going to work? Who are you going to pair? I mentioned on my show, Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara last week, Josh, I think a great pairing, a value pairing for fantasy football this year. You get Garrett Wilson in the second round. You swing back. Aaron Rodgers is going to like rounds 11 and 12. What if you pair those two? How about that for a stack? Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, and you get him at that value. I think that could pan out really well.
Listen, he has value still because at the end of the day, the Jets tried to make the postseason with the worst quarterback room in world history. Ooh. And Aaron Rodgers, we know, is better than Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco combined. So
yeah, that's not saying much. That's not saying much.
But listen, it's something. It's something.
It's something.
He's Andy McNamara. You heard him plug the Sick Podcast at AndyMC81 on Twitter, and he joined us today on Happy Hour Friday here on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, you are free to drink away.
Yes. All right, guys. Happy Memorial Day. Talk to you later.
Josh Hennig here, filling in for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. We'll wrap up the show with some final thoughts on Happy Hour Friday. On the other side, Memorial Day Weekend Edition on 97.3 ESPN.
From the beach,
the beaches are open, and people are having a wonderful time.
To the ballpark.
Swing and a high fly ball, left field. That one is back. Gone. Harper delivers.
We've got you covered. The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
The Atco Thrill Show, Saturday, June 3rd at the Atco Dragway on Jackson Road in Atco. Tickets are $25 for adults and just $1 for kids ages 5 through 10. Find more at atcodragway.rocks.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Progressive protects more than just your home and car. You could save when you bundle your motorcycles, ATVs, boats, and RVs. Doesn't that sound good? Like the sound of the wind in the trees as your RV sits parked in the forest. Is that the call of the majestic owl? And there's the sound of a tree branch crashing into the roof of your RV. Oof, I guess their nest was in that branch. But you know what does sound good? You're covered with Progressive. So bundle all your vehicles and home in one place and save with the multi-policy discount. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers.
Award-winning musician, actor, director, and producer Ice Cube is coming to Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort Friday, July 7th. Former NWA member Ice Cube, best known for Straight Outta Compton, will be bringing the energy in his iconic voice and powerful lyrics. Don't miss Ice Cube, Friday, July 7th, Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at theoceanac.com. That's theoceanac.com to get tickets to see Ice Cube Friday, July 7th at Ocean Casino Resort.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When you open your hopper, you don't fill it with just any hardwood pellets, right? You fill it with Kingsford 100% hardwood blend pellets. Made right here in the USA with North American ingredients and a 100% natural hardwood blend, Kingsford pellets can be used on any pellet grill and add delicious smoky flavor to any meal. Kingsford's the name you trust for the low and slow cooking you crave. So look for Kingsford 100% hardwood blend pellets.
Black Kia. What dealer will pay off your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth?
Who is Matt Black Kia?
Correct. Have a job clearing $350 per week? Matt Black Kia in Egg Harbor Township or Toms River wants to approve you. New 2023 Kia Forte or Soul, 0 down, and just 2.9% financing for 48 months. Plus, we're overloaded with trades, low mileage, one owner trades, many with remaining factory warranty, and they must go to make room for new Kias arriving daily. Just because you don't see your new Kia on the lot doesn't mean you can't be driving it home tomorrow with our exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. $27.78 per thousand financed. Go to mattblackkia.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 5/31/23. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River. Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, wrapping up Happy Hour Friday here on 97.3 ESPN. A ton of people messaging throughout the show. I promised you at the end I would give you my recommendations, because usually every year Mike Gill and the Sports Bash gives you their recommendations when you're visiting the Jersey Shore, when you're going out this summer, where to go, where to hit up. So I'm going to give you my recommendation list now here at the end of the show. But before I get that, I do want to acknowledge one thing before I get out of here. It's very important. It is called Memorial Day for a reason, and we would not have the opportunity to talk sports on the radio. We would not be in a position to go out and hang out with friends and go and do the things that we do if it wasn't for the sacrifices of the men and women who died in service of protecting the freedoms we have in this country. So let's all remember that Memorial Day is in remembrance of the people. We have these opportunities. We have this vacation season because of those people who sacrificed their lives. So thank you to all of those people who did that. All right. So I promise I'm going to go south, north to south here on my rundown here. So first of all, I'm going to start with the very top of the rung. Rife Restaurant in Ventnor/Atlantic City. Great food, really cool vibe. One of my favorites. I know Mike Gill and people like him, they love Robert's Place over there on the island. I'm a big fan of Maynard's in Margate. I think Maynard's in Margate is one of the best spots, not just in the summer, but year-round in basically South Jersey. It's a really cool environment. I like their service. It's a great environment out there. It's very cool. Also, and moving south on the island. So let's jump again. I'm a Cape May County guy, so we go heavier Cape May County, then Atlantic County here. Ocean City, Three Brothers Pizza on the boardwalk. Okay, Pacini's Brick Oven Pizza over on West Avenue. Okay, those are two must every year in South Jersey. Also in Ocean City, I think that a great one as well is Pizza on the boardwalk. With great big slices of pizza. There's a spot out in Ocean City. Sea Isle. Before we get to Sea Isle, I forgot about the Deauville Inn in Strathmere. You can eat and drink on the beach. You can eat and drink at the outside bar, the inside bar. Tons of great options. One of the best. Also in Strathmere, Twisties by the Bay. One of the oldest buildings on the island. The Sea Isle and Strathmere are located on. Great history with that place. Great drink options as well. Now we can migrate down in the Sea Isle. I am a big fan of the Ludlam Bar and Grill, formerly La Costa. They've done some really nice work at redoing the entire establishment over there. If you're looking for great breakfast and lunch, you'll want to go to Bright Spot Cafe over on Landis Avenue in Seattle. Some of the best food on the island. Speaking of great food, Henry's Bar at Bracca's, right off of JFK. That is a great spot as well. Also one of the older buildings with great history on the island. So those are some places in Seattle. If you want to go to Townsend's Inlet, Hank's Sauce has some of the best wings in South Jersey. So if you're looking for wings, if you're looking for great food, Hank's down there in Townsend's Inlet around 85th and Landis Avenue. That is a great spot as well. Heading down to Avalon, we mentioned the Princeton earlier. That is always a popping spot for a lot of people who love to go enjoy the entertainment down there at the Princeton. Heading over to Stone Harbor, my personal favorite, Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street. Nothing is better than when it's a nice day outside. They open the windows at the bar. You can sit there, watch a Phillies game, get the fresh air from outside while sitting there with your favorite food and drink down there in Stone Harbor. Also, Quahog's over on the other side on 97th Street is a great establishment as well. In Wildwood, I like both the North End and North Shore bar and restaurants down there in Wildwood. Both are awesome establishments. I'm a big fan of West Side Saloon over there in West Wildwood. Yuri's over on the Boulevard in Wildwood proper. And if you go down to Cape May, Seaview, the Ugly Mug, some of the best options for me. I'm running out of time here. I'm Josh Hennig. This is the Sports Bash. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, we kickstart the Memorial Day weekend. Mike Harlan joins me in the studio. The Phillies are in Atlanta for a 4-game set, and the Sixers are searching for their next head coach. We'll cover it all. Hour 2, it's the Beach Patrol Report, brought to you by McCann Realtors of Sea Isle City and the Ocean City Lifeguard Alumni Association. The president of the Alumni Association, Jack Brooks, and I will talk with Chief of the Brigantine Beach Patrol, Kip Emick. All that and more. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.